What's up, Twitch? Welcome back to the Monday King Sit Down and Pile Drive. It's your hosts, Connor.
And Connor.
And we're back. We're back on Monday. We're back where we belong. We're back on the throne.
The throne of justice.
There was nothing wrong with Sunday, but we grew too big.
Oh, no, dude. Like, Sundays were cool. Yeah. I mean, I guess, if you're into that kind of thing.
Yeah,
but
you just came with this big, boisterous personality, and you're like, it was fine.
That's kind of my thing, man. You come in, you're like, man, wrestling sucks. And I'm just like, it's all right.
No, I say
it's
good
all
things.
It's cool.
I say good things.
It's all right. Give me violence, I guess.
Yeah, you
cool.
know,
Speaking of violence.
Extreme Rules happened. It happened a week ago.
Yeah. What happened again?
Oh, I remember the pay-per-view. Before we get into the pay-per-view, what did you think?
I missed the first couple matches.
So breaking news.
So
Stephanie McMahon sent out a tweet last week saying she was going to make a big announcement on Monday Night Raw, and they made that big announcement on Monday Night Raw
already.
Yeah.
Dang.
Probably opened the show with it.
Yeah. What was the announcement, if you don't mind?
They have announced that the first ever all women's pay-per-view event will be called Evolution. They are doing, right? It's a little on the nose.
It's a little on the nose.
But it's fine. They're doing an all women's pay-per-view. They're taking a page out of Stardom, out of Rise, and doing a women's show. It's set to feature the finals of the 2018 Mae Young Classic.
That makes sense.
So the final match will be at this pay-per-view.
Cool.
The Raw and the women's SmackDown, the Raw SmackDown, it's hard doing live television.
Yeah.
Their titles will be on the line. I don't think they're combining them like you thought.
Oh, man.
And there will be more than 50 women involved with the show, indicating that there will be stars from past and present. I want to thank Wrestling Inc. for giving me these links. I have to thank them.
Okay. Well, thank you. That's it, though? That's really it?
Yeah.
Maybe we just hyped it up too much, because I know this whole weekend everybody's been talking about it like it's crazy.
A lot of people thought that they were going to make like a women's tag team division.
I still think that's going to happen. I think they'll save it for another week. I still think that will happen. But
I don't.
Because you're going to have 50 people. What are they going to do?
Well, it's, they'll probably have a rumble.
A rumble?
I imagine they'll have a rumble. They'll probably find some way to incorporate some legends in tag matches and stuff like that. Yeah. You'll probably see a lot of tag matches.
50 people is a lot.
Yeah, and then, I mean, it's WWE, so you got to think they'll have backstage segments and stuff. But if you look at their women's roster, I don't really feel like a tag team division would work.
Well, they don't really have a tag division now, and they make it work, and they have two of them.
Do they make it work?
I don't think so, but if you combined them, I was originally thinking.
No, I agree.
We talked before the show started about how I thought they were going to do. First, I thought they were going to combine the Raw and the SmackDown women's titles, and then maybe bring in a mid-card title. Maybe for Legacy, make it like the Divas Championship. I know that's a curse word to most people, but yeah, but if you think about it, it could be more of a mid card. If you look at it as lesser, it would be a little more easier to swallow. Or you could just do it like the women's Intercontinental. But I think that's I don't really like it when they take men things and make it women things, and all they do is they just put women in front of it.
Yeah,
I'm like, it should be its own thing. They can call it the Evolution Championship.
That would be pretty good.
Or something like that.
That would actually not be
that would be my thing. So if you had
a terrible idea at all.
So instead of two separate rosters like it is with the men's division, because the men's division is just so large, over hundreds of wrestlers, you make it one division between the brands, and that way it feels like you're giving more time because they'll be on both shows to adjust the stories and things like that. And then you have a world champion. Instead of a Raw women's champion or a SmackDown women's champion, you just have a world champion. And that way you can call it the women's world champion, and it'd be it seems more on par with the men. It feels like it would be more on par with the men. You have the mid-card title, which would be for the women who you think they deserve a title, but not the title. Yeah. Like a Naomi, Carmella.
Like a TV title for women.
Exactly. And then you have a tag team division to fill up, because they have Absolution. They have Riot Squad. They have Iconics. They got
they have tag teams and they
Bailey, Sasha. Maybe they can do Naomi and Tamina if Tamina is ever going to come back to TV. You know, they have a lot of people to make a tag division, and it doesn't have to be so finite.
Well,
like the men's division is.
They could. First off, they don't give a whole lot of attention to their tag team division.
Mm-hmm.
They don't give a whole lot of attention to any women's wrestlers not named Charlotte, Alexa Bliss, Sasha Banks, and Bailey.
Yeah.
And now Ronda Rousey. So, I mean, this isn't to be negative. This
No,
is
no,
me
yeah.
just being...
We're just talking.
As a realist and what
Conversational
I see,
podcast. And plus, don't say that word again because our thing's going off again. You got to say bliss or a bliss.
Oh, right.
Yeah. We got one of those Amazon things.
Yeah.
And it goes off.
I don't see... And as good as this pay-per-view is going to be, I don't really see them changing their philosophies creatively.
I think they will, honestly. And I can tell you why, but if you want to talk about it yourself first, but I'll tell you why I think they will.
Okay.
We'll have our good selves Connor versus Connor debate.
I'm down.
All right. You want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
Go first.
All right. So I think they're going to make it a big deal for this reason. I feel like WWE's been trying to catch up creatively with the independents, with everywhere else in the world. And one way they can do that is by making their women's division seem better than the men's division. And also people are going to get behind a first ever women's pay-per-view. Because remember back when the Royal Rumble?
Yeah.
And they were just like, people were so stoked for the first ever women's Rumble.
No, like...
So making this the first ever pay-per-view could be this chance to basically erase all the bad publicity, bad like mindsets that people have about the women's division, about how, oh, they're not treating Asuka right, or, oh, Carmella can't be a champion, or like whatever, like things like that, where people are kind of soured on it. You come in, this could be a fresh start. Treat it more like a takeover in the sense that like it feels like a big event, because it's not every 2 weeks.
Right.
So you lead up to it. You start building these matches. This could be where like you can get Charlotte the title and Ronda the title, have that unification match there. And then you can do like basically all the, like, you know how they were saying like Ronda versus Charlotte was going to be headlined WrestleMania. By putting it on this show, you kind of write yourself off of that. So then you can have Vince put Roman Reigns in the main event like he wants to.
Okay.
So you build, and I'll say this one last thing and I'll let you talk. Right. You can build to this to make it a bigger deal, because I think it will be. Because people are going to be like speculating, and I think you're afraid, like I'm a little bit afraid, that it's going to be just another house show kind of thing, where I think it's going to be more of like when they did the Royal Rumble and it was like a huge deal.
Well, so I think you misunderstand. I know that they're going to treat the pay-per-view itself like a big deal. And I'm excited for the pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. I think it's exciting. And honestly, I still think Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey is the main event for WrestleMania. Hear me out.
I agree. I think it is.
Hear me out what the main event for this Evolution pay-per-view is going to be. 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsewomen.
Okay. When is this taking place, if you don't mind me asking?
Let me
is it before or after Survivor Series?
Let me look it up real quick.
Because this could set up that for Survivor Series.
I don't know if they're going to do that. I mean, they could do it again. Let's say...
No way. They would not do it twice. They would do it once, and then maybe like in 5 years they'll do it again.
Right. WWE announces first ever all-women's pay-per-view. No, so my thing is... And it's not the pay-per-view. It's the idea of a women's tag team division. And I agree that they should combine the women's titles, but saying it out loud now makes me go, no, because then it's just going to disappear again.
The women's division?
Not the women's division, but the title.
Oh, no way, dude.
Dude, when it was just one title, they didn't do anything with it.
Fair enough. Keep talking.
They didn't do anything with the Divas title.
We're just messing with you.
Yeah, no, I got you, man. So anyway, it is. So it's announced that it's going to be on October 28th. So it's before Survivor Series.
That's where I think this is going to set up the 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsewomen.
So maybe.
So I can see Ronda versus Charlotte at this thing, because it's like it should maybe be in WrestleMania, but this could be like.
Or Ronda Sasha.
If WWE wants to like fully go into the equal rights, equal pay, equal whatever, feminist stuff that they're trying to do, which is the right thing to do. You put that match as a marquee match. That's a match people want to see, especially for how good Ronda's been. And they have parallels, how they both come from athletic backgrounds, coming in and making a big statement.
So my thing is you're going to have this creative team that already feels stretched thin whenever I watch. Like, it already feels like everybody's hands are on deck and there's nobody free to do something. You're then going to go, okay, let's have this women's tag division. So now you have to have storylines not only for your single stars, which is like, that's all of them. Now you have to think of something to do for these tag teams that is creative and interesting, or it's just going to end up on pre-show where nobody watches it.
Well, yeah. For me, I would say that like we have too many titles. I would love for them to just combine all the titles except for maybe United States and Intercontinental.
I'm all for a women's tag division if this was an environment that allowed the wrestlers themselves to kind of be in charge of their creative.
Yeah,
because then they can do stuff. But since you're relying on this team of writers to come up with all your that's like Triple H took over 205 Live because they weren't doing anything. So Triple H just took it over, and it feels like Triple H is very hands-on with what goes on in 205 Live.
Yeah, it'd be great to see him take over the women's division.
How fucking good was that Leo Rush?
Oh, dude, Leo Rush is the best.
He's so good. That crowd,
I love him.
I was like, I sent out a tweet. I was like, this crowd does not appreciate what they're saying.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
I don't think it. Okay, so I don't think it's that they're not appreciated. It's because the way everything is set up.
Yeah, I get they're tired, but I'm like, it's still a great match. You guys can sit through a 3-hour Raw. You can't sit through.
No, they can't sit through a 3-hour Raw. Well, that's the point.
It's if it was good television.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
the concept of everything women's division is right.
I mean, we all, like, everybody who follows NXT really wanted the iconic duo to go to main roster, and when they did, they didn't do anything with them.
I feel like that's because there is nothing for them to do because there's not enough, like, there's nothing at stake. So everything has to be gaudy and like, you're dumb. Yeah, and you're just like, I know.
They shouldn't have brought James Ellsworth back. They could have easily done what they did. What they've been doing with the Iconics, it would probably even better. Like, imagine them in the shark cage.
Yeah, that would have been fine.
Speaking of which, we'll get into Extreme.
Yeah. But
I texted you right after that match.
Yeah, you did.
I was so mad.
What did I say, man? I said Asuka's been like ruined and her losing the streak.
I was pissed.
Like, I don't know what WWE's gonna be doing because it seems to me, and we'll talk about this later with Impact Slammiversary. It seems like everybody's going full gear with their wrestling. And WWE might have to start thinking, oh, people actually do care about the wrestling and the storytelling. And storytelling's starting to come back, which I'm so stoked about. Because for the longest time in all of wrestling, indie wrestling, WWE, whatever, the wrestling, it became, everybody's like, we have the best wrestlers. But they never told good stories while in the ring. So you'd see a lot of people go, like, oh, they had a great match because, I don't know who's Ricochet and Will Ospreay did sweet flips during the match.
That was a lot of Impact Wrestling for the longest time.
Exactly.
Was just.
But crap. I feel like you have to over adjust in order to readjust.
Yeah.
And that's what happened through from 2013 to 2016, 17.
Right.
And then Kenny Omega came out, did their match with Okada, and people realized, oh shit, storytelling. And then people go back and go like CM Punk. The reason why he was over wasn't because he was a good wrestler. It's because he had great storytelling.
It's because his matches were exciting.
And now people on the indie scenes and people in NXT.
Is.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that the idea of a good wrestler is, super technical. No. It is a wrestler who can tell a story in a ring. That's why Jack Swagger did not get over. Kurt Angle got over because he could tell a fucking story. Jack Swagger could just do really good wrestling.
Right. And that's where I'm saying, so I feel like we're at a point now where the wrestling has corrected itself everywhere. Even in WWE, the wrestling is really good.
Yeah.
But now people are going to be like, oh, now the storytelling with the Omega matches and pretty much anybody in New Japan and upper elite indie wrestling have been working on their storytelling, their sellings, their connecting with the crowds. Even Johnny Gargano is a perfect example. Johnny Gargano is the first person in a long time in WWE to come in and be like, what do you guys want? Oh, you want me to be the underdog? Well, I'm going to relate to you, and I'm going to tell the story in the ring about how I can try my best, but I can't get the final my hand raised.
Right, and it's like, and Tommaso Ciampa takes the opposite approach with that, where it's like, whatever you cheer, I'm not going to fucking
exactly.
do.
And I feel like WWE's always been late to the party with stuff like that. They finally caught up with their in-ring performances, but they're going to eventually start going, well, what's working everywhere else? Storytelling. And they're going to start telling these new stories. So there's going to be a pendulum swip, a paradigm flip somewhere in the next, I'd say, year of them trying to tell good stories again. And then everywhere else will start working on something else.
Or, and hear me
I'm listening to you.
They go the exact opposite route, and it's just death matches nonstop.
Hey.
And Nick Gage becomes WWE World Heavyweight Champion for 10 years because he's the fucking king. He's the fucking god.
Dude,
gang affiliated.
I'm really considering going to Chicago to see the Nick Gage Invitational Deathmatch tournament.
Man.
I texted you. I was like, "You want to go?"
I'm
can't.
like,
I kind of want to go.
Want to.
I'm curious because I've never been.
Nick Gage is gonna get fucked up.
Yep. But yeah, even perfect example, like even deathmatch wrestling lately has been coming back because they've been doing some pretty good storytelling.
Yeah.
You know, like Nick Gage.
I forgot who said in an interview, but they said that deathmatch wrestling, you need it to be like 100% storytelling.
Yes, 100%. Yeah,
because garbage.
Because like if you look at like early deathmatch Japanese that stuff, it was all spectacle. It was all look what we can do, and these wrestlers weren't really wrestlers. They were just willing to do things. Yeah. And that's why you get all these accidents. You get people getting cut and stuff like that.
It's the blessing and the curse of ECW.
Exactly.
Is it influenced?
You get guys who are coming up now, like Matt Tremont, Ricky Shane Page, Nick Gage, and Jimmy Havoc coming in and bringing in fantastic storytelling that you don't need to do a million light tube death match. You could just do one light tube, make that one light tube seem insane, and then it feels big. And I feel like that's where I'm trying to get at with this entire thing that I've said, is that they're starting to figure out, people on the independent scene, because of Kenny Omega and how open he's been about it, that psychology, storytelling, making sure everything makes sense is what's going to get matches that are insane. And that's why matches on the independent scenes have been hitting these 5-star stars like they're like throwing out like Skittles to a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
Like they're getting them a ton more because they're telling these great stories.
The British Strong Style versus Undisputed Era 6-man tag match.
Yeah.
It didn't, like, I watched it. It didn't have anything that was like, oh my god, he did a flip.
Yeah, he did. Oh my god, he flew off the roof of the building.
He did 6 flippy flips in a flippy flip roll. No, it was just quality storytelling.
Yes,
with spots that weren't gonna hurt the wrestlers, and it was exciting.
Yeah,
that the Mustache Mountain Undisputed Era match on NXT the next week was incredible.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
I knew Trent Seven was not going to get the tag and they were not going to win.
Right.
But I still, like, when he made that comeback, I still was like, get him, Trent Seven.
Yeah.
Get him, because I wanted Trent Seven to win.
We'll talk about it more, but at Impact last night, Sami Callihan versus Pentagon, I knew with 100% that Pentagon was not going to lose his match. He's not going to lose his mask. He's not going to lose the match. But there was one point where I was like, are they really going to do it?
Right.
And that's fantastic storytelling.
Shit, in the Undertaker-Mankind match, Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
You know Mankind's not going to win. Hell, you definitely know when he gets completely fucked up. But when he makes that comeback, there's a moment where you're like, he might pull it out.
Yeah.
He still doesn't, and you're not surprised. But when wrestling gets you, when it gets you like that, that's when wrestling's good.
Yeah, and that's what I mean by, like, if you see on the independents, a lot of people are overcorrecting. They're like overdoing the sells. They're overdoing things. It's going to get back to a nice point where it's good. And independent wrestling is going to be about like the best storytelling. It's going to be like 2006 Ring of Honor storytelling. And WWE is going to be like, well, why is nobody watching our stuff anymore? We have the lowest ratings we ever had. What is it? New Japan's going up. ROH is going up. Impact is going up. what is it about them that's making them thing? And Triple H is going to tell Vince, he'd be like, well, I think it's going to be the storytelling and the amazing selling and the amazing this. And Vince is going to be like, all right, we'll overdo it then. And he'll have like basically have really bad storytelling, but it's going to be an overcorrection to readjust it back to the way it should be. And that's where I think it will go. And I feel like this pay-per-view, this women's pay-per-view, could be that paradigm shift. It's only a couple months away, so I don't think I'm saying this without any like knowing. But it could be a chance to show WWE where they could go, and and bring us back to the point where you don't need 15 titles. But if you have 6 that are worth a damn, and you have good stories behind them, and you can have people have grudges, real grudges with stories, and they have them go out, you don't need a 5-hour pay-per-view. You just need 3 hours of great storytelling. And that's where I'm hoping this could go, and that's where I feel like it should go. I don't know where we got into this, but that was cool and all.
No, So again, I'm not worried about them not letting the women do what they're good at.
Right.
I'm worried about creative just kind of not caring.
Yeah, and that's where we got into it. I feel like if Vince is going to try anything, and this is going to sound super shitty, but he's probably more willing to put a risk on the women division than the men's division.
Well, it's
and this could be their chance to prove him why this pay-per-view is going to work.
It's like when they announced the Cruiserweight Classic. It's like, cool, so you have all of these new talent.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you going to go from here if you plan? It took a year for them to do anything with the UK guys.
Yeah, well, that's because it was out of spite.
But at the same time, they rushed 205 Live. They rushed it out. So it's just this fair balance of with the women's pay-per-view, it's just a matter of, okay, where do we go from here? Is there a plan after this for what? And it
doesn't seem rushed though, because if it was rushed, it would have been right after Greatest Royal Rumble.
Not the pay-per-view itself.
Oh, okay.
This is the women's tag thing.
Yeah.
And why I don't feel they need a women's tag.
Okay.
As great as that would be, they don't need it. They don't have the time for it. Let's get some feuds going on in the women's division that don't consist of the same 4 wrestlers you think exist.
Yeah. Well, that's where I would say, get rid of, half of your titles.
Right? There's too many titles.
There's too many titles.
I think... And New Japan has a lot of titles, but they've found a balance.
Well, even them, I would say they can get rid of half their titles, too. Yeah. They can get rid of the U.S. They can get rid of the Never. They can get rid of the Trios.
What champion? He's a champion, apparently? No,
he's not anymore. He lost it back to Goto, and then Goto defended against Jeff Cobb.
Okay.
But, yeah. Exactly. But the point is, the reason why they do that, I understand why they do that, is because there's no TV really for New Japan, so titles are a reason why people fight.
Right.
In WWE, you have the opportunity to tell these stories, so you don't need as many titles.
No, I completely, I mean, I completely
one women's,
agree.
1 men's, 2 mid-cards, men and women. One mid-card for the men, 1 mid-card for the women.
Get rid of that Universal
title. 1
title.
tag team for the men, 1 tag team for the women. Cruiserweight and Cruiserweight tag separated. You would have enough titles. That's only 7 matches. 7 matches to fit in 3 hours.
NXT has 4 titles.
Yeah.
4. And it's perfect.
Yeah.
They find time for each and every single one of those titles.
Yeah.
There are times in a WWE pay-per-view, which is 5 hours long, one of their titles, one of their champions is missing.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Extreme Rules was the first time in a little bit where all of the titles were defended. Because Bludgeon Brothers weren't... No, Bludgeon Brothers... One of the tag team...
There's no Cruiserweight title defense.
Oh, the Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt did not defend their tag.
Yeah, they did. They lost to the B team.
Backlash. I'm talking
about at Backlash. Yeah. Sorry, I thought you were talking about...
No, that's what I'm saying is Extreme Rules was the first time where, other than the Universal title, which doesn't fucking count anymore,
My point of why they need to get rid of the
Yeah.
2 world titles.
Universal
I've
title.
never been a fan of 2 world titles.
Fuck the Universal
I think it just makes no sense. You're like, I'm the world champion. No, I'm the world champion.
To me,
We're both world champions.
To me, it does not matter who holds the Universal title. It is unnecessary. It is stupid, and it's just so Raw has the title.
Yeah, I think you have it where the champions float, and maybe not have them do house shows.
Agreed.
That way, they have that ability to jump without overexerting themselves, or just not have the titles on the show every week, but have them on at the pay-per-views.
Yeah.
That way, it feels, because I was all for Brock Lesnar not defending the title all the time. It's gotten to the point where I've stretched my limit.
Right.
I like it when the champion fights every 3 months, and then the mid cards can kind of step up to that point, kind of decide who's going to be the next world champion. Like if you have your let's say there's 6 people in your main event or potential world champions, have them feud for when they're not in that title shot, they can feud for that title. You know, the mid card might get lost, but honestly, we have way too many people on Raw. So you can I don't want people to lose their jobs, but you kind of need to lose some people.
Yeah.
You know, maybe put them on house shows.
Just make if imagine a network where, as much as it does have a lot of wrestling, but imagine if you made the network the network had more wrestling. I don't want to watch these original shows. I don't care. I mean, I like them. I love Table for Three.
It got worse.
I like Camp WWE.
But you don't need it. That's the problem. I think that's what you're trying to say.
Exactly. If Kurt Hawkins needs airtime, make a show, an hour-long show, for these guys that you're not doing anything with, that you clearly don't have any plans for, and just make something for them. Let them have a show that's just wrestling. You could make a PWG style show on the network that's just the guys you're not using.
Yeah, or just have shorter contracts and then have these people go on excursion kind of. Because if you send when before Dolph became Intercontinental Champion, became the next hot shit again. But
is he though? Before
then, when he was people were limboing what he was doing, if you just said, hey, go out independence for 6 months.
Yeah.
Learn more. Learn what people are.
NXT.
Talk to people.
Yeah.
You know, and that could be what NXT is, but I'm talking about it'd be cooler for me if they let Mike Kanellis go to Ring of Honor and wrestle for a couple months and then come back. Don't make him lose his job.
It doesn't matter that they don't care that they're getting paid. They want to wrestle.
Right. Well, they care that they're getting paid, but that's my point being is
it's cool.
Just because you have everybody signed doesn't mean you have to use everybody all the time.
Right.
And it makes people feel like shit.
I'm not crying that Mike Kanellis isn't being used.
I am. I think he's fantastic.
I mean, it's a bummer for him, and it's a bummer for his fans, but he's not missed.
That's true. That's a fair statement.
And it's like Ty Dillinger. I like Ty Dillinger. If I don't see him, I don't miss him. Mm-hmm. I miss AJ Styles. I miss Shinsuke. I miss the tag team. I miss the Bludgeon Brothers. I miss New Day.
Yeah.
I don't really miss Zack Ryder. I'm not crying when Zack Ryder's not on my TV.
Yeah.
R-Truth. I'm surprised R-Truth still. When they announced it, the shakeup, I was like, "Where's R-Truth been?" Anyway.
That's true. All right. Well, you want to talk about Extreme Rules? Because I missed the first part.
You missed the first part.
So if you want to talk about it, I'll be like,
ooh
and
good. I'm to wrap it in a positive note. I am glad that this women's pay-per-view is happening. I think it's exciting. I love women's wrestling.
Me too.
I'm excited for the Mae Young Classic. I love every single one of those people they've announced. I'm super excited. I'm going to be watching it.
And you thought they weren't going to bring back half the people from last year.
Well, I'm glad Mercedes Martinez.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not saying it was bad.
She's a fucking badass.
I remember when I jokingly made the prediction of next year's WrestleMania. I said Tessa Blanchard, which I was completely wrong. But she's on a multi-year contract now.
She looks short. I always look at Tessa Blanchard and she seems tall, but then I see her on TV and I'm like, she's just very stout.
It might be because she's got the thick hips with 2 C's. Yeah, I know. But I'm saying it might make her look a little shorter. I don't know.
True.
But what were we were talking about something. Oh, women's pay-per-view. It's going to be dope.
Yeah.
Or not. I don't know.
I will be definitely checking it out on the network.
Oh, October. So that's, I should have seen this coming. They got rid of freaking TLC. I'm dumb.
No, TLC's in December.
No, remember they got rid of TLC and people thought they were going to bring in Halloween Havoc?
Oh.
Women's division. It's in October.
All right.
I should have seen this coming. I'm so dumb. All right.
All right. So Extreme Rules happened. Real quick, Griff.
Yeah.
What's your grade on it? What'd you think?
Well, I don't think it's fair because I only saw the last half, so I'll give it with like an asterisk next to it.
How much of it did you see?
I saw. I'm trying to remember. I definitely saw Carmella Asuka. I definitely saw the end of Shinsuke Jeff Hardy. I caught the end of that. And I caught the main event for sure. I caught the... Oh, no, I came in right at the end of Bryan and Kane. So I might have missed the United States title match.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I caught the end of that.
Okay.
So that's where I'm at. So I missed pretty much half the show because they started at 5 and we were filming this.
Yeah. You didn't start from the beginning?
I had to work the next day, so I couldn't really do that.
Okay. Well, I will guide you through it.
Cool, go for it.
I didn't see the kickoff matches, but Andrade Cien Almas, to no surprise, defeated Sin Cara. Apparently it was a really good match.
Yeah. Well, I think the whole reason why they paired him up with Sin Cara right off the bat was because they probably have chemistry.
Yeah, and Almas, they're going to have to watch out for Almas.
Dude, he's going to be the Rusev in the sense that people are going to be cheering for him, and they're going to be like, we thought he was going to be maybe a mid-card guy, and they're like, no, world titles.
That dude's a world fucking champion.
Yeah, hell yeah, he is.
Goddamn world champion.
Hell yeah.
Can't believe I'm saying that about fucking Andrade Cien Almas, but
he's the best.
He's amazing. That first match he did with Gargano back in Brooklyn 3, changed my entire perspective on Almas. I'm like,
it's like I have a theory that he was purposely being bad just so he could be looked better when he got Zelina. Yeah, because I don't know how you thought of it, but for the whole time they were like, he's bad, he keeps losing, he's so slow, and why is this guy the best? I don't know.
I think hearing all of that shit talked about him was just kind of like, okay, all right, I'm going to show you guys what I have. And oh my god, he's quickly getting in my top 10.
Yeah.
I'm going to start a Connor's top 10.
Connor's top 10. We should do Connor's top 10s.
I'm down.
We'll do it at the end of every week.
All right, we made a segment. We're going to do Connor's top 10 at the end of the show.
All right, I'm going to have to think about this.
All right. And then Sanity, and I was surprised. Sanity defeated the New Day.
I called
that
one.
Good for them.
You won prediction, so I'm mad at you about it.
I dominated.
Whatever. I'm in the top 1,000s on the Pick'em contest on Reddit for the G1. So whatever.
Job. I'm so proud of you. So the official show kicked off with the B team taking on Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy.
I was so shocked because I gave you so much shit for thinking that the B team was going to win, and they won. I was so shocked. Like, I swear to God, I had no thought that they would.
I figured because I don't, if you're not on the Hulu version of Monday Night Raw, you're not very excited. Obviously, something's not working.
Right.
And it's not a knock on Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy, but I definitely feel that their tag team is not working.
Is it not working, or is it just that they're not doing anything with them?
I think it's a big mixture of both.
Yeah.
I
bet you this was supposed to be like.
I don't feel like Bray Wyatt's involved in it.
Yeah, Bray Wyatt seems like he doesn't give a shit. He's just like, whatever. I don't
Bray
care.
Wyatt's entire fucking personal life is falling apart every 5 seconds.
Really?
With the car accident and
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
I feel like Bray Wyatt is so checked out mentally because he's just like...
He's someone who I would love to see go to the Independents. Do a shtick there.
Having a PWG match.
Yeah, he'd be fantastic.
And I love Matt Hardy, but Matt Hardy, if he's broken, but he's not doing anything broken.
Yeah, exactly.
He's just going delete. I am pissed.
People gotta be careful with that delete, man. It's starting to look like it's about to start like saying, "Hey,
I am pissed that they did not do a deletion match at Extreme Rules. I don't care. I think it's dumb. I think it's dumb that they just had a regular fucking match. It was a fine match.
I think I said this last time. I think they're going to be saving the deletions to the night before or the week before WrestleMania.
Do it whenever you can.
Yeah, do it when it makes sense. Is what I would say.
Do it whenever you can. It just.
I thought they were going to lead into Tag Team Apocalypto 2, but called something WWE, like the Woken Elliptico or whatever.
I want to believe. See, here's the thing: is like you still have this hopeful optimism that one day WWE is going to,
because that's the fun of wrestling, man. Especially like WWE. That's the only way I can watch it is by guessing what's happening.
Exactly.
And like doing how I would book it.
But there's also just this realist factor of no. It's just not.
That's totally true.
Trust me.
No.
I'm on your side.
Yeah.
I'm on your side with it.
But it's not fun if I just say the worst thing that's going to happen is going to happen. That's not fun.
It's why Daniel Bryan's title win at WrestleMania 30 is so important to me. Because it's like, obviously, storyline, Daniel Bryan needs to win this title. It makes complete sense. But at the same time, Batista's a name. And Randy Orton's a name. And fuck it.
Yeah.
So as much as like I want to sit there with that wide-eyed like, oh, it's gonna be so cool when WWE does this thing, they're not gonna do that thing. Like, we all think Bobby Lashley's gonna win.
No way.
Take on Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, and he probably will. But at the same time, Roman Reigns was already confirmed for it before they even had the match. So Roman Reigns is probably going to win.
I think it's going to be a triple threat, just so they can beat Brock without
That'd be
pinning
sweet.
him.
They're not going to beat Brock, but
I think they will. I have a sneaking suspicion Dana White doesn't want that title with Brock when he goes to fight.
that'd be so fucking.
I think he's going to be like, because after the CM Punk fiasco, I think he's going to try to distance himself away from wrestling.
So dumb. UFC. Dana White has so many other problems.
Yeah.
That wrestling, I'm like, that is bottom tier problem. You have superstar. You have champions who can never stop doing drugs before their fights.
Well,
and they have to vacate. You have Conor McGregor who assaulted people, and you're talking about putting him in another fight. Dana White is such a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
And he doesn't give a shit.
But Matt Riddle can't fight because he smokes weed.
I know, right? Fuck Dana White. He's goddamn
Yeah.
motherfucking.
But this is, yet again, we're talking about it. This is how I would do it, but this is what I actually think they might do. I think they're going to have Brock lose the title, and he's going to focus 100% on the fight so he can beat Cormier, which is, 50-50 shot of if it's going to work or not. But if he wins, he can go into WrestleMania and fight whoever's champion, and it'd be UFC champion versus WWE champion, which I think is more of a marquee match than Brock Lesnar as double champion getting beat. If you have, let's just say, Bobby Lashley pins Roman at SummerSlam. He has the title. Brock Lesnar leaves for 6 months.
And hear me out, I don't think this is going to happen, but it'd be pretty fucking sweet if it did. So let's say Brock Lesnar somehow defeats Daniel Cormier for the UFC heavyweight title. Braun fucking Strowman comes out and cashes in his Money in the Bank contract in the fucking octagon.
Yeah,
right?
I was all aboard until you said that. I was like, nope, that's dumb.
Or he challenges him at WrestleMania.
See, that'd be more... Okay, that's fair. That is fair.
Because Dana
White,
as anti-professional wrestling as Dana White is, he loves attention. And there is never a time where people pay attention to the UFC more than when they're involved in something wrestling related, whether it's something a wrestler, whether it's something one of their fighters said, or one of their fighters is going to the WWE, or one of the WWE wrestlers is coming to the UFC. No one gives a shit more about UFC than wrestling fans.
That's a fair point. But what I think is Bobby Lashley beats Roman, wins the title. Somewhere down the line, either that night or later on, Braun will cash in, winning the title, which voids any rematch clause for Brock Lesnar. Mm-hmm. He goes in, he hopefully beats Cormier. If he doesn't, we can still do this match, but whatever. But then you can have it billed as UFC World Champion, Heavyweight Champion versus WWE World Heavyweight Champion. No, it's Universal, but that's just a better marquee. And it could be it won't be a unification match because, of course, Braun's not going to win the UFC Championship. But it could be a chance to have Brock win both titles at the grandest stage of them all in the main event. And WrestleMania gets way more viewers than a UFC fight.
Yeah.
So this would be the place to do it. And because it's predetermined, you can have Brock win and then go from there. We'll figure it out after that. But then you can have him win, have both titles, and it would be bigger moment than him winning both titles at UFC 1986. It'd be a bigger moment at WrestleMania. Or you can have him lose. Have him lose.
Get on this?
We were talking about the Universal. I don't know.
We were talking about B Team.
Oh yeah, B team. We were talking about predictions and how I have this rose-colored glasses of booking.
I was like,
Yeah.
that was some.
I don't care. Extreme Rules was a B- show.
B-. You're being fucking nice, dude.
I'd say I thought the matches delivered except for the main event.
Yeah, we'll talk about that because I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
One. And then so the B team won. They had a moment where Bo Dallas and Bray Wyatt, who are brothers in real life,
Gossip.
were standing across from each other, and the crowd actually acknowledged the moment, which was cool.
Yeah.
But then, and I called it, Bo Dallas tagged Curtis Axel back in. They didn't really lock up. I'm like, even if they're not ever going to address it, I'm glad that they saved that.
Yeah, that's fair.
And the B team won, and Curtis Axel cut a great promo at the end where he was like, "How do we feel? How does a rainbow feel? I feel like Stretch Armstrong after he landed on the moon." And I was like, Stretch fucking arms. I love Curtis Axel.
I've always thought he was good.
He deserves so much more.
Yeah.
Than he's
100%.
Oh, he's so good.
Yeah.
And he's got that dope look. Like he's great.
Yeah.
Axel Mania was his, and they fucking killed it, and fuck WWE. Yep. All right. Right. After that, we had Finn Balor taking on Baron Corbin.
He lost with a roll-up. I thought he'd get DQ'd, make him look a little stronger.
Good for Finn Balor.
Good for Finn Balor, bad for Baron.
I don't
think it was bad. It's just
Baron
made
Corbin
him look
can
dumb.
Eat losses.
He can eat losses, but it just makes him look dumb because he loses. Anytime he has to lose, it's always with a roll-up. It's never like he got beat.
Well, because I think he takes on primarily like smaller guys.
That's true. I'm telling you, dude. Like we talked about last time, we were like, it'd be cool if he just did his whole indie beater,
he's
indie
Vince's
killer
guy, and then he can have a backstage segment.
He can just rip off Jordan Devlin, call himself the import killer, and he just like kills anybody who's imported from the indies.
Yeah,
it'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
But it's not. That's not WWE.
I'd love a
WWE
segment.
doesn't do cool.
If he takes on like Vince's guy thing, he can have a segment with Vince McMahon, and Vince McMahon's like, "Who are you?"
Yeah, that'd be so funny. He's like, Vince McMahon,
who sent me Skinny Kane,
says I'm the man, and I'm going to beat any of Triple H's guys. And
who
then,
in their right
and
mind
then
would
he's
name
like,
Baron?
"Hey Vince," and then he's just like, "Darren Corbin, what's up?"
I would never come up with a name as stupid as Baron Corbin.
Yeah, but he's got to mispronounce his name like all the time.
Smorvin?
Like Darren Corbin, because it'd be a call to the indie wrestler.
Yeah.
But they would never do that. But that's besides the point.
No, everyone's really shocked when they name drop TNA.
Yeah, I know. But
after that, the SmackDown Women's Title match. Carmella, the champion, taking on Asuka, the challenger, with Carmella's valet, James Ellsworth, suspended in a shark cage.
Suspended in a shark cage.
And the match was garbage. It was a garbage match with. It didn't let Carmella didn't look good. She looked stupid because she didn't do anything. James Ellsworth just kept dropping foreign objects down for her, and Asuka would stop her at every turn, which at first, good story. But then they take it to the outside. Not a whole lot of wrestling's happened yet. Asuka beats up Carmella. James Ellsworth is fucking around in the shark cage, and he gets himself hung.
Yeah.
You can see the goddamn harness on his leg, so he can be properly hung from the shark cage.
Whoa.
And then Asuka, who up until this moment has always been a very super smart competitor, for some reason is, I'm a dummy. And she just goes in the ring, and I get it. She's mad, so she beats up James Ellsworth. I spent the entire time of this match trying to justify what was going on.
It's because Asuka has a crush on James Ellsworth, and she gets distracted every time she sees that chinless wonder.
So then she beats him up a bunch of times. The refs come out to try and put him back in the cage and restore order to this garbage match that's taking place in front of me. Asuka backs up to the ring post. Carmella slithers in behind her. Asuka doesn't have the fucking forethought to go, I should look behind me. And then Carmella Asuka has not been touched this entire match yet. Carmella pushes her into the shark tank. It fucking knocks her out. 1, 2, 3, and Carmella is still your SmackDown Women's Champion. And Asuka looks like shit. I was pissed. I told you And I told Sarah, who was watching it with me, I am so fucking pissed off right now after what I just watched. I know wrestling is subjective. And I get it. Not everyone can be champion. But what the are you seriously going to Shinsuke Nakamura Asuka now? Where you don't use her, and then you just turn her heel? So then she's a champion? Oh.
I told you, man. I told
you, Vince.
I told you the ending of the streak was the
Road
worst
Dogg.
idea. Because all it did was justify her losing, and she's going to lose more. And that's why. I said this was going to happen, man.
She is the best women's wrestler on the roster. She's one of the best wrestlers, period, on the roster. Gender, not important. And you book her to look like a fucking moron against this loudmouth, trash-talking girl from fucking Long Island. And that's her
Staten Island.
Staten Island. And that's her whole fucking gimmick. She does the goddamn moonwalk, and I like Carmella. But in this moment, I said, fuck Carmella. I was pissed. Oh, my God.
You know what WWE calls that?
Heel heat.
Yeah, fuck you. Stole my joke. God damn it, Connor.
Nagi, man.
God damn it, Connor.
Oh, dude, I was so goddamn
No, yeah,
irritated.
that's what they think it is. They think they're getting heel heat, but in reality, they're just making people mad at them rather than at the wrestlers.
So now, obviously, after the next SmackDown, fucking Becky Lynch announced that she's coming after Carmella, so that's probably your SummerSlam match.
Probably.
And
It'll probably be a multi-woman match, probably.
I hope so. Asuka needs that fucking title.
I
now more than ever.
But didn't you just say, like, a couple months ago that Becky needs that title?
Becky does, but Asuka really needs that title. Becky's fine. Asuka looks like a complete goddamn moron, and I don't want to see Asuka get built back up. I want to see Asuka win the title and go, I'm going to hold this title for 6 years.
You know what would be cool? If they do a triple threat, Becky, Asuka, Carmella, and you have Asuka win, beating Carmella, and then Becky is like, okay, well, we got to fight now, and then they do their match in the October whatever Evolution pay-per-view.
Cool.
Because that'd be a match people would be interested in.
That'd be cool.
I don't think they've ever faced each other.
I'm coming down.
Coming down. Oh, no, I let you talk, man. I let you. I know you, man.
I have spent so much time like trying to find like this was my sunshine and rainbows shit because I was like, Asuka's fine, she can bounce back. They don't want her to bounce back. That's what that is.
No, like I said, I was 100%. They think they're getting heel heat for Carmella.
It's fucking ridiculous.
But that's not
Carmella
what heel
doesn't
heat
need
is.
That is Carmella doesn't need that. I was pissed.
It's you're gonna get heel heat on the company rather than on Carmella.
And honestly, like now I'm like, cool. I'm done with James Ellsworth. I want him gone. I'm so mad.
Well, he's apparently going to be gone soon.
Probably, yeah. They probably just brought him back for that stuff.
But it makes sense. Okay, for how shitty that is, it does make sense. Carmella versus Becky at SummerSlam for this reason. Becky has a huge problem with James Ellsworth in kayfabe. That makes sense for them to bring that back up, and then she can get her hands on James Ellsworth because they had that one match, but it kind of just ended up with a women's rights. Let's all do our finishers to the dude match.
Hear me out. Here's what they do for SummerSlam.
All right,
because
I'm holding you to this.
This is
Better
negative
be
person
good.
coming out.
All right.
James Ellsworth costs Becky Lynch her chance at the championship, and it becomes Asuka and Becky Lynch versus Carmella and James Ellsworth.
No, that'd be dope for the women's match. Because nobody would be upset if James Ellsworth was considered a woman on the all-women's pay-per-view.
No.
You'd just be like, well, it's James Ellsworth, you know?
I don't know. His the way Carmella won the Money in the Bank made sense, and everybody hated it.
Well, that's because they did it too soon.
I agree.
They did it. If they did that at the second ever Money in the Bank, people would be like, cool, awesome. But if they did it at the first, you need that moment of the first woman holding the thing.
I was immediately like, this pay-per-view gets an F from me. Just for that. Yeah. Just for that, this pay-per-view gets an F.
No, I remember if you're saying this one or the
Extreme Rules.
Okay, yeah. I'd say it was C plus B minus because
no. For that match alone.
Oh, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying for me, I saw the writing on the wall with Asuka.
6 stars. Burn
I saw the writing on the wall with Asuka when she lost to Charlotte, and the way she lost to Charlotte. If they wanted to end her streak but keep her strong, they would have had her just get pinned. Mm-hmm. But because they had her tapped, that means, okay, she's going back down. And that's what I said after the show. I'm like, you literally, they're just trying to make her a mid-carder in the women's division.
Ridiculous.
And yeah, whatever.
After that, the best. This was like I love the AJ Styles Rusev match. This is the highlight of the night for me.
Yeah.
Jeff Hardy versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the United States title.
Yeah. You said it happened almost exactly the way you said.
Almost
right?
exactly the way I called it. Where before the match happened, Nakamura attacked Jeff Hardy with a low blow, and then the bell rang. Jeff Hardy's like, I'm good, I'm a face, I'm good.
He's doing this, but he's going super slow because his nuts kind of hurt.
Yeah.
He's just like...
You're right, he does this. This is Matt Hardy.
Yeah.
Jeff Hardy. Anyway, so the bell rings. Shinsuke flying out of fucking nowhere with a Kinshasa, 1, 2, 3, and in a second, Shinsuke Nakamura is your United States title.
I love it.
Your United States champion.
I love it. I said when you said that on the thing, I'm like, I love that.
It's so good.
Because it takes away his booking for the last couple months.
I am completely okay with him being a sneaky heel. I don't like him being a cowardly heel. So him doing that and then that's
and then
fine.
fucking shit up, dude.
Yeah. Cheating heel, totally cool with.
Yeah.
And he's holding the title up, and I want to be proud. And then I hear voices in my head. And then Randy Orton comes out and ruins this great moment. Hear me out. We have been waiting so long for Shinsuke Nakamura to have a title on the main roster that for them to come out just for Randy Orton to just gut stomp.
But it's the mid-card title. Nobody cares. It's not like the boyhood dream has come true.
It's the principle of the matter.
It's the U.S. title.
It's the principle of the matter.
Like Rusev has won the U.S. title twice.
And he probably got to enjoy that moment.
Right.
Randy Orton.
No. Because he won against John Cena. John Cena just like, didn't he like AA him after it?
No.
Oh, no, he won it from someone else.
Yeah.
Who did he win it from?
Sheamus.
All right. Point being is like, mid-cards are supposed to be for the weird, hey, dumb booking stuff. Okay. That's what it's meant for.
I just for what followed, you could have saved that for SmackDown.
That's fair.
You could save that
because they kind of did the same thing at SmackDown, right?
Yeah. I mean, if you had saved that for SmackDown, when he's like pulling the ear, that would have been a way better moment. But for him to just come out and
Connor was too low.
For him to come out and just gut stomp Randy or Jeff Hardy and leave, kind of weak. Kind of a weak thing to interrupt Shinsuke's first main roster title thing. And that's just my highlight of the night. Best moment of the night was that. That was so fucking cool.
I'd say, we'll talk about it here in a bit. I'll just say what I was going to say. Never mind.
What did you think?
I was going to say the best match of the night was, I think, Rusev versus AJ Styles.
It's not the best match of the night.
I think it was.
No.
Oh, for you.
Shinsuke, Jeff Hardy, not best match of the night. Best moment of the night.
Oh, best
highlight of the entire pay-per-view was that.
Okay.
After that, we had the steel cage match.
That was pretty cool.
Kevin Owens. It was really good.
It was. We both said the same thing. We didn't think he was going to get thrown off. We thought he was going to get thrown through because I thought it was going to be kind of like a joke.
That's what I said.
Making fun of Roman.
The only thing we were off on was
how, not the why.
How he got through.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's cool. Like, it's exactly what happened. It doesn't make Braun look weak. Gives Kevin Owens something to kind of poke fun of.
Yeah.
It's like, I beat the monster. And then he gets his song.
That feels like a face turn for Kevin Owens.
Dude, Kevin Owens should be face.
I agree.
He's someone who could, if he plays it up right. Well, first off, I think when the Undisputed Era gets called up, put him with Kevin Owens.
Right.
That would be the best. It would give them like, they're like, you don't need to make him like the leader. Just kind of make him with his buddies, and you just see Kevin Owens doing the whatever
he could do it. He could half-ass it.
Yeah.
I think what I like about Braun Strowman,
and then he can be turned on by Adam Cole, and then Adam Cole becomes a real heel. I'm just kidding.
What I like about Braun Strowman, and what I really appreciate about his current storyline, is he does not need victories.
No.
He's got money in the bank. He's good. So him doing this stuff with Kevin Owens, like just fucking around with Kevin Owens, I like it. It's fun to watch. Kevin Owens obviously seems into it.
Yeah.
He made Braun look great.
Yeah.
I love when he turned around when he's getting to exit. I love when he turned around and he just gave Braun the I gasped. I was like when he's like, suck it. I was like, he told him to suck it. That's Triple H's thing.
What? No, I thought the funniest part about this wasn't even in the match. The funniest part is now he's going to be able to tell Shania Twain to play that song. because he beat the person that she said. Because you watched that video, right?
Yeah.
She's like, well, if you get to beat Braun Strowman,
I beat Braun Strowman.
and he's gonna go up and be like, Shania, I beat Braun.
He's got like a neck brace.
He's got a neck brace. That'd be so great. It's gonna happen. He's gonna be called back up on stage, or it's gonna be one of those things where like she's gonna be like, all right, I got a couple more songs, or doing an encore, and then Kevin Owens just comes out. And he's like, Shania, I beat him. Can you play my song now?
Like a crutch.
I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon. It'll probably be next time she's in Ontario. But I bet you $100 that like next time she's playing there, it's gonna happen.
Oh man,
it's
like
gonna be so great.
He fucking references
it'll be so funny.
And nobody. It made Braun look great. It made Kevin Owens look great.
Yep.
It was a great spot.
Was he on Raw last week?
No.
Okay.
Kevin Owens was not. I think he's selling the.
I think so too, and he might have needed some time off.
And yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that match.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I know you're saying ha ha ha, Asuka, Carmella, but if you look at the card, it was a pretty good show. That's why I'm saying like a B minus. I think it's a good.
It was a very meh pay-per-view.
I thought it was better than Backlash. I thought it was better than what was the last Money in the Bank. I think it was better than Money in the Bank.
Damn.
I think Money in the Bank, the only good match was the ladder matches.
I didn't watch Money in the Bank.
Yeah, the whole show was kind of but then the two main like Money in the Bank matches were great.
After that, we had Bludgeon Brothers taking on.
This is the one I finally came in at the end of this.
It was a good match.
Down.
It was. I mean, it was pretty predictable.
Yeah, especially once I heard about the whole them tacking with the foot, then I was like, oh, he's not gonna turn heel.
Did Kane get legitimately injured?
Apparently, he got legitimately injured. I don't know if it's his actual leg.
Okay.
But he's dealing with an injury. And I think this is just an easy way to write him off because he shouldn't be wrestling right now. He's running for office,
which was weird.
Yeah, and it's also the way they did it can make it seem like Miz is involved, and it makes sense.
And
it makes Bryan look great because he loses, but it was essentially him versus the two best tag team wrestlers,
two giant hard hitting guys.
Yeah.
Against small little Daniel Bryan.
And he was able to take him out.
And I enjoyed the match. It was really good.
Yeah.
It's Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan and Luke Harper.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, I could watch them wrestle for 2 hours.
Yeah.
But SmackDown Live.
But yeah, there's not really much to say. It was fantastic. Kane coming back out, I thought was a bit much. I would have had him just stay out.
I was thoroughly surprised that there wasn't Miz interference.
Well, apparently he was at like some home run derby.
Yeah.
Charity thing.
Yeah.
If I knew that, I would have been like, oh.
But, I mean, that's insider information. We don't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know
We're not
that.
wrestling journalists yet.
No, I know.
After that, shockingly,
Is it shockingly?
Shockingly not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Bobby Lashley took on Roman Reigns.
I actually really dug this match. And I'll tell you why. This match was dope because it was what I wanted it to be. And it's not a technical match. It's not a high flyer match. It was two big boys being the bloody, I'm trying to think of another B, out of each other. They were beating the crap out of each other. It was stiff, as stiff as Roman can get. But they were like, clotheslining and stuff like that. And I really liked the ending because I always thought, I was like, Bobby Lashley did the spear as a finish in TNA. So it makes sense for him to beat him with his own move.
I think we look back on it fondly because Bobby Lashley won. Spoiler alert, Bobby Lashley defeated Roman Reigns. But for a majority of the match, like I don't think Roman Reigns knows how to tell a story.
Oh, no, he doesn't. But
because
I'm saying
all he was doing was hitting him.
Yeah.
And it was just, it got to the point where I said out loud, I'm like, so is he the bad guy in this match?
It was just two big boys beating the bloody something out of each other. Like I said, I need a B word that's like
the bloody
piss.
Bits.
The bloody bits out of each other.
There we go. Fucking
two big boys beating the bloody bits out of each other.
You sound like Monty Scurll.
Yeah. So that's what... But yeah, that's what I wanted from it. I was like, I wasn't expecting like them to put on a 5-star classic.
Not even a 5-star, just something interesting. And like
you had a monster match, you had a overbooked match, you had a great technical match. We had to say with the next match, things like that. And then you have these two big boys, just kind of beating each other up. I like that.
If it was like an Extreme Rules match or something like that.
Oh, it should have been like a falls count anywhere. It would have been cool.
Like no holds barred.
Yeah, that would have been cool. That would have made way more sense.
It would have been a lot better.
Or an Extreme Rules match.
Exactly.
It's Extreme Rules pay-per-view.
Just something that allows them, or just no count.
And then if they just beat each other up and do what they did, but do it out in the audience, you know, I think that would have added another layer.
They had a ref bump, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Like, why doesn't the ref bump exist anymore?
Oh, it does.
But they don't commit to it. I saw a ref bump. Triple H took on Undertaker at WrestleMania 17. They just kind of bumped into the ref, and he was out for like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
and
but
they fought outside for the entire fucking match.
Yeah.
And he didn't wake up.
Well, countouts are dumb. They should get rid of countouts. DQ, I can understand. Get rid of countouts.
After that, the other thing, this should have been a #1 contenders match, basically.
Oh yeah, what the?
Right?
That was so dumb. I thought this was a #1 contenders
it wasn't,
match,
but it should have just been.
It should have just been. Like at the beginning, they could have done it at the beginning of the show when Kurt Angle did his whole thing, which we didn't even mention. He's kind of skipped over, but he was all like, "I give him an ultimatum: either he shows up or not." And then at the end, be like, "And to show that I'm serious, tonight's Roman Reigns versus Bobby Lashley match is for the #1 contendership,
or the title if it's vacated."
No, because then they could do a tournament.
Yeah,
but I'm saying like this is for the #1 contendership, and then people would have been like, "Woo!" and then we move on.
Yeah,
and it would have made more sense. And then they don't have to do these.
Roman Reigns. That's why I'm like, so it's gonna be Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Only one person's allowed in the fucking main event, standing across Brock Lesnar, and that's Roman Reigns apparently, and fuck all of us.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening with Raw tonight. I don't know how far we're into it, but I wouldn't be surprised if Brock Lesnar makes a surprise appearance.
Cost them both.
And
that's what
takes them both out.
Yeah. Anyway.
It'd be a cool little like, and especially with their low ratings from last week or whatever, it would make sense for them to bring them back to try to see if they can pop ratings.
Don't really matter.
I know they don't, but I'm just saying,
I
like, I'm thinking in the minds of someone like that.
That should be a shirt. I get what you're saying.
I get what you're saying.
We say it all the time.
Yeah, I got you.
We're the after that. An Extreme Rules match for the WWE Raw Women's Championship.
Yeah,
which shockingly became the worst match of the night.
You just said the Carmella versus Asuka match was the worst match ever.
Emotional. This one, logistically speaking, probably the worst match of the night. There was nothing really extreme going on. Oh. There was chair shots and one trash can.
This isn't death matches.
I don't want a death match.
This is PG.
I just want somebody who is holding the chair to know how to hit somebody with a chair instead of Bliss kept wanting to hit her in the fucking head.
I love how you caught yourself.
I'm like, not today. Not today, Amazon.
I didn't hate this match. I thought it was overbooked to hell, but they kind of needed to.
Natalia
was not needed.
She doesn't feel the need to involve herself in what's going on.
Although, okay, finish what you're saying. I gotta say something.
When she finally does get involved, they just take her out, and then Ronda Rousey. They have sacrificed an entire division just so Ronda Rousey can beat Alexa Bliss.
I disagree, but I'm not going to argue with you because I don't really care. But, God, did Natalia and Nia Jax look good as like a tag team?
Yeah.
I
hate what Natalia wears.
That's literally the one thing I think I wrote down was I was like, oh, if they do a women's tag division, I could see them as a tag team.
Right.
They had aesthetically like the same outfit, and they looked really nice like next to each other. Like they looked like they were like cohesive. I know that's not where they're going with it, but I thought that. I was like, that was cool. I like them together. Like if they were a team, I could get behind that. And they could be like, we're the daughters of legends and
match. You could have still had a lot of the same spots, but I feel that making an Extreme Rules match that wasn't very exciting to watch to begin with. Like other than the trash can spot.
You know what would have been way cooler? This should have been the shark cage match. Put Ronda in the cage.
That would have been.
And then she breaks out of it and then starts snapping arms.
Like they can't even get her into the shark cage.
No, she's
like she just
because she does that weird face where she's
Bliss comes out. They are trying to get Ronda into the shark cage and Ronda doesn't want to go. She's like she keeps on trying to like.
Yeah.
If you had made this like not even a match, like it was supposed to happen and it just couldn't happen, I think that would have been a lot better. And Nia Jax doesn't have to suffer a loss.
Yeah, and it could have been like I know we're talking in like hindsight's 2020, but this one is definitely hindsight. I would have switched the Asuka and this match with their stipulations.
Oh, that would've been
if they
great.
made Carmella versus Asuka Extreme Rules, and then have James Ellsworth just keep throwing weapons and it not be so like he's sneaking.
Yeah.
It's just like it literally be like Asuka lost because she was fighting two people.
Right.
You know, and you could get a little more behind it. This one, you have Alexa and Nia, no Natalia. I think Natalia is literally unnecessary. Ronda up in the cage. And you have Mickey James basically being the person who keeps throwing in weapons to Bliss to Bliss, and then at one point Bliss just starts being kind of being a cheating heel. I almost said something way worse. And then Ronda has enough, starts breaking it, breaks out of the cage, jumps down. Because what's that, like 10 feet? You can jump that. Maybe you don't want to risk it. It's so close to SummerSlam. But ever just kind of like get down and then just start snapping like Mickey's arm. Not getting involved in the match, but then she like goes for a punch to Alexa or to God damn it. Goes to punch Bliss. And then, like, she ducks and knocks out, like, Natalia or Nia.
Nia recreate, like, the Shawn Michaels.
And she's just like,
Undertaker thing.
You know, and then...
Well, it's...
I don't know. If you're going to overbook it, make it, like, fun.
I feel like it sucks for Nia because Nia is going to the back burner.
Yeah. Well...
She's going to the back burner very, very quickly. And...
Well, she... Like, I know she was... I don't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. I don't know where she got in her head that she's like the shit, Nia. Because it seemed like when she did that walkout, and everybody was like, "Oh, she's gonna leave." I was like, "Who cares?"
Well, I think
because she's literally been wrestling for what 2 years.
Yeah.
She's not ready to be a world champion in my eyes, and it has nothing to do with how she looks. It has nothing to do with anything about that. It has to do with I don't see her as a main event player.
She's not a Charlotte. She's not.
No, she's not. She's not even Alexa Bliss.
Shit. If Piper Niven.
If it was the same role.
Looks like a fucking champion. And I take her seriously as a fucking champion.
Yeah.
My thing with Nia Jax is her face turn was bad. If she was a heel and won that title, I think we'd be talking a different story. But they became so like, no, we're going to do this bullying story. And Nia Jax is going to represent all of the bullied people in the world. But we're going to do a storyline where...
Be a star!
She cuts that bad promo, and then Bliss... Oh, it was a bad promo. And then Bliss does her Moments of Bliss where she talks about how Nia Jax is a bully with this bad storyline. And then we're going to have Nia Jax take on Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
But then Alexa Bliss... don't you dare. Alexa, turn off.
God,
Bliss
that's annoying.
is going to interrupt their match so there's no winner. Even if they had let Nia Jax just beat Ronda Rousey clean, which they were never going to do,
right?
That would have been different. But no, they're going to get disqualified, and then Bliss is going to cash in her Money in the Bank, win the championship 1, 2, 3, because we really want this Ronda Rousey Bliss match. Sorry, Nia.
Yeah, I know, but I just don't think Nia was ready for her to be a champion. I don't think she was ready. I don't think she has the charisma. I don't think she has the skill. I think all she's got is her size, which is saying something. But for some reason, she started getting a little like, I'm going to walk away. Fucking walk away. You got to earn your shit here. You don't just come in and win titles.
Yeah.
That's not how this works. You know? You look at guys like AJ Styles who've been wrestling for 25 years. And they just come in and they're just like, they give him the title right away because he's earned it. He's paid his dues. Nia, like, to me, and this is why I don't like her. And this isn't, like I said, this is not fat shaming. I'm fat. I can say this. Just kidding. But she hasn't earned a damn thing in this business. And I think other people noticed that too. And that's why they didn't get behind it when she won. I was all stoked about her winning.
I think the promo is what, if they had just let her be champion instead of having her take on this mantle of you're going to be a star person.
Also, she has the worst tell. She has the worst tell in wrestling. Like you walk out and she if she's gonna lose, she's literally like this.
She's got win face, lose face.
She's literally yeah. But like you joke about that, but like it's straight up like I knew she was gonna lose this match from the get go.
Yeah,
because she might be an emotional person. I'm an emotional person.
Well, you can tell,
but you have to act the part. If you're gonna be champion, act like a champion.
The night after Money in the Bank, they just have her come out and she's just smiling. She just lost her title the night before, and she's just smiling, and it's not her fault. Someone backstage is telling her to do that.
Yeah, like, I just don't like her. I guess
I'm not a huge.
It's the same thing like with like Tamina. I don't really like Tamina either.
It's like Dolph Ziggler.
I like Dolph, but I understand why people don't
connect with me in any way, shape, or form.
But yeah, that's my opinion.
It wasn't a very good match.
Yeah,
and I'm not even comparing it to other Extreme Rules matches. I'm just saying what I watched was bad.
Yeah.
Referred to as sloppy by people, and I see it.
Yeah.
I see the sloppiness. Other than that trash can spot, which is probably the only spot that was planned, the rest of the match just seemed like a mess.
Yeah, if you just if it were me, I would just kept her as Bliss's bodyguard and basically be the reason why Bliss is a 5-time champion, rather than Bliss just being like, the Triple H kind of heel.
If they took the Diesel approach with her,
I think it would have worked.
And they did not try to do that fucking Enzo storyline, which is now the second time that dude's been name dropped on this.
Did we mention him already?
I have.
Oh, okay.
But it was when I was talking about Big Cass's release.
You're talking about Ever? I don't care, dude.
So
I have no. Let this be known to the world. I don't care. I'm going to talk about everybody. I don't care. I've said this a million times. Chris Benoit was my favorite wrestler growing up.
So
so I will talk about Chris Benoit if I want to.
They put Nia Jax, who's this great big heel.
Yeah.
And they fuck with her. They fuck with this great character they have.
And
they have this fucking science project of a face they want.
Yeah.
That they literally just created because they wanted it.
They created it because she was going to leave. And they were like, well, we don't want her to leave. So we'll give her a title, but we'll only let her have it for like a month. And I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Is she was going to leave and they were like, wait, come back. You can win the title at WrestleMania. Big deal. But you're going to have to drop it pretty quick because we weren't planning on you to be champion.
I don't think they were planning on her to challenge Ronda Rousey.
No, I don't think they were either. I don't know why they did that.
Because she just challenged Ronda Rousey. It was at like a press.
No, I know kayfabe. Yeah. I'm talking about like legit behind the scenes why they decided to do that. Because they could have easily just had Ronda kind of been on the outskirts of the division until SummerSlam, but they didn't. Yeah. Maybe it was an easy way to get the title back on Bliss without making Nia look like a loser. Right. But then they made her look like a loser here. So I don't know.
After that, yeah, I feel bad for Nia Jax. She should go to SmackDown.
I don't like her, so whatever. I mean, you could put her wherever you want. I don't think she's very good. I think she needs time.
Yeah.
She needs to be put with someone who can teach her. And that's what I thought. Because because you would say her and Alexa probably have the same amount of experience, but they're leaps and bounds on credibility and believability.
Well, I think with Bliss, it's all just character work.
Right.
Nia Jax's character work is there sometimes, but it's just sometimes.
I don't think it's there at all. I think she's the least charismatic person. And that's a me thing, I understand. But I think she's just kind of like, she's just there. She's Big Show.
Yeah.
Like Big Show, I love Big Show to death. He's a phenomenal wrestler, but from character perspective, could have been better.
I'm going to get so much shit back home for crapping on Nia.
I don't care. I don't care.
You don't have to.
I've been watching wrestling for fucking 28 years. I'm 26 and I've been watching for 28 years.
Good math.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying I've been watching wrestling my whole life. I think I have a little bit of knowledge on what I'm talking about.
You know what you like.
Yeah.
After that, AJ Styles, the WWE champion, took on Rusev.
Fuck yeah, dude. This match kicked ass.
It was a pretty good match.
This match was dope. I loved everything about this match.
I didn't like the end.
What happened at the? Oh yeah, well, whatever.
I just
It had to end some way.
I just don't like. I don't. What is with this stubborn desire to break up things that work?
Because it got over because Vince didn't make it get over.
I don't care if it's an experiment to see why do you feel the need to do the experiment? If it works, then it fucking works.
Yeah.
You don't need to break up Rusev Day to see if Rusev's over. Rusev is over because Rusev Day is over.
Yeah. I agree.
If it wasn't over, people wouldn't give a shit. You wouldn't hear AJ Styles chants and Rusev Day chants at the same fucking time. As smarky as the fucking crowd got.
Yeah, they got pretty smarky.
Cheering for a wrestler you like and cheering their name is not fucking smarky. Especially if they're in the ring at that moment. Mm-hmm. The CM Punk chants, smarky.
Yeah.
Rusev Day chants, not smarky.
Yeah. I agree. But I like the whole dynamic of this. They kind of made Rusev was strong.
He was a monster.
And I don't mean strong as in like he was built strong. I mean like he's legit like I'm stronger than AJ.
It was a great match.
It made really sense.
Good.
He's throwing him.
The ending is my only problem with it.
Yeah, but what I like about that ending is it makes Rusev look like he could have won, which is what I kind of want for him because he's a great mid-carder. I love him, and I would love to see him push to the main event. And we talked about how like this is his chance to prove to the fans, that he can be a world champion.
He definitely did.
I definitely think he'll be within, I'd say 2 years, he'll be a world champion.
Or he'll go to New Japan and become world champion there.
Dude, he'd be fantastic in New Japan.
I see it.
Yeah.
I never saw it with Ziggler, but I saw it with Rusev.
Yeah. But I think he likes his job as much as he likes to tease people.
Yeah.
I think he's like Finn Balor. He likes to just poke people. Like, ha, ha, ha.
It was a good match. He kicked out of a 450 splash, which was awesome.
It was dope.
He got out of the calf crusher, which was great.
Mm-hmm.
I loved when he tried to put him in the accolade and he couldn't do it.
Because his back was
so good. His leg
was so good.
That was great storytelling on his part. It was awesome. Like that part alone, I was like, wow, that's really good. I'd love to see that match get more attention and more time. It should have been the main event.
Yeah, it should have. Okay. Hindsight, it should have been the main event. But if the main event was as good as it was hyped, I swear to God, dude. Okay, we'll get to it, but this match was dope. AJ Styles is fantastic. Rusev,
he's the best wrestler in the world.
Rusev proved to me tonight that he can go with elite wrestlers and hold his own. And that's all I needed from that match.
He's so underrated. It's ridiculous. Do something with him. Don't break up Rusev Day. Jesus Christ.
Okay.
After that,
now I can say what I was talking about.
Oh, I'm ready because I'm glad that you and I are on the same page. 30-minute Iron Man match for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. Dolph Ziggler taking on Seth Rollins.
There was an hour till 9 o'clock here. I swear I thought they were going to change it to 1 hour. Like I thought it was going to be like a surprise. Mm-hmm. I thought Kurt Angle was going to come out right before the match was about to start and be like, "Look at that time. You know what? He says it's the main event. We're doing 1 hour Iron Man." I really thought that was going to happen.
Glad it did not.
Oh yeah, but this match was good until it wasn't.
Yeah, I think they kind of. The first 10 minutes were good.
Yep.
It was really enjoyable. A lot of fast paced.
I like how the pins were like, "Oh, I caught you."
Yeah.
Very British, like kind of like thought process where it's not about beating your opponent till they can't kick out, rather than
I got
like
my finisher on you.
Yeah, it was more about like I caught you in a pin.
Yeah.
You know, oh cool, which I liked.
And then Drew McIntyre beat up Seth Rollins.
He should have got like 7 DQ victories off this.
He got ejected from the ring.
Yeah.
And then the crowd just kind of started not shitting on the match, but just not caring because it took a long time for like Dolph Ziggler to recover and Seth Rollins to recover.
It's all about insulting the audience.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the truth. And insulting the audience is, Seth should have gotten 3 DQs because he told him, get out, and then he did it more. That's 1 DQ. He told him, hey, stop it. He still beat him up. That's 2. And then the third one, he's like, you're out of here. And then he gave him a Claymore. That's 3. That's 3 more. He should have been 6-0.
Right.
But they didn't do that. They thought this was a good way to bring it back. Then on top of that, he got 3 victories in a span of 2 minutes. what?
Yeah.
Isn't it in every Iron Man match they stand him up after every pinfall? They're like, all right, stand up.
Well, I think they did that, except for the first one.
Yeah, it's like, I don't understand why. I don't understand why. Mm-hmm. I get 5 pinfalls throughout 30 minutes. Fucking 7? 7's a bit much, man. Like, I can suspend my disbelief a lot. But 3 pinfalls in the span of 2 minutes? Come on.
I'm sorry, if you're going to do the sudden death thing, it should have gone 0-0 the entire time.
If you're going to do a sudden death, don't have it end in 3 seconds after the match. That's dumb.
Yeah.
That's just dumb. If they would have wrestled for another 10 minutes after the sudden death started, and it was just like, if it was Seth come up kind of doing like the keep it going, I will never give up. You know, that kind of idea where like Dolph is winning. He's gonna win. He looks like he's gonna win, but he just can't pin him. And then Seth gets fire. He starts building up that fire. He's like, I finally got a point. Goes for the curb stop. Then Drew comes out. Money.
Right.
Money. It would have been a great
minute,
ending.
2 minutes, but for
or they could have just did what they did at the end of the match.
Right.
Instead of doing a sudden death. Because for me, when you do a sudden death, that means, okay, all bets are off.
Like 20 minutes of really great back and forth, and then Drew McIntyre attacks Seth Rollins, beats him up, Ziggler gets his pins back after this 20 minutes of really great back and forth.
It would, because they've done that before. I don't know who did it. I know it was Alberto Del Rio, but I forgot what match it was.
Randy Orton.
Where he hit him with a chair so hard that he got a pinfall. He lost the pinfall to get one, and then he got it.
Falls match, yeah.
Yeah, and he lost the pinfall in order to gain the upper hand. He's willing to make that sacrifice in order to keep the upper hand to win the match in a whole. Makes sense. 3 pinfalls? That was a bit much. If you had Seth win with a roll-up around 6 minutes, and then around 15 minutes, they do the Drew turn on. Like, Drew's like, come on, man. And he kicks the shit out of him, leaves. Dolph gets one more, 1-1.
Yeah.
They go to sudden death, if you want to do sudden death. But if, let's say they go to sudden death, and then after 5 minutes, and like I said, it's Dolph having the upper hand, by the end, and then looks like Seth's going to win. Drew comes out of the audience like they did, do the exact same thing they did. Would have been money. But they just paced it so wrong.
The crowd was immediately not it. Like after the Drew McIntyre thing, the crowd just checked out.
Yeah, because it doesn't make sense.
Right.
Like, we get wrestling is fake, dude. Like, you don't have to.
Imagine like 20 minutes of really great wrestling, and then Drew McIntyre does what he does, and the crowd now has 10 minutes. Oh my God, what's going to happen? I now have 20 minutes to not really care about this match.
Exactly.
And then that's when they started just counting down.
Yeah.
The last 10 seconds.
I will say, fuck the audience for that.
Fuck them.
They were so
I agree.
dumb, dude.
Was
Like,
so...
don't take over the show.
It's such
Voice your frustrations. Don't take over the show.
Every crowd these days wants to be the smarky internet crowd that does the wave and does the chants, and they chant Mike Chioda because that one time when the New Jersey crowd did it.
Yeah. I still say, like, if you just said night after WrestleMania, all bets are off, crowd go crazy, here's beach balls and shit like that. Yeah. Everybody gets it out of their system, it would never happen.
No, because you have I remember after the New Jersey crowd, every crowd for like the next few weeks was trying to do what they did.
Oh yeah, I'm saying though, if WWE like lived it up and made it like a thing to like, WrestleMania's over, now it's fresh start, this is the fun show, and they started like giving people stuff to play with, having people do the dumb chants, get people behind it.
Right.
I think people would get it out of their systems, and then you can go back to it, because it is about voicing your frustration, but it's also about them trying to be viral. Mm-hmm. You know, they're like, oh, people are talking about our audience, we're so hip.
And on it, like, the backlash from the crowd thing is a lot of people saying, this is why Vince McMahon puts Roman Reigns in the main event. You guys are like, oh, you shit on Roman Reigns, and then you just shit on Seth. Like, shut up. Yeah. It is one bad crowd. Yeah. I still want good wrestling.
And I wouldn't say they were about crowd. I said just for that match.
Just for that match.
And I think it's because, like I said, they were that 3 pinfalls in 2 minutes. People were like, oh. And then that's how they're going to do this? Like, that's so dumb.
Then 10 minutes of nothing.
Right.
You go at them, and then it's 10. It's like you start at 100, and then you just hit the brake as quickly as you can.
Yeah, it was just bad pacing. I think if they would have taken the first 10 minutes, stretched it out to 20, last 10 minutes, it would have been fine.
And not to be this guy, but when it's as hyped as it was, expected more.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think
I'm not saying I expected to be Kenny Omega versus Okada.
No.
But I definitely expected a lot more than what I got.
Yeah. I swear I thought they were going to make it into an hour.
If you put something on this whole idea of, it's going to be Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, I want Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, and I'm not going to settle for the junior version of that. As a fan, I'm not a professional wrestler.
Yeah.
And I'm not critiquing I'm not trying to say that these two wrestlers don't deserve that praise.
Right.
I'm saying when I hear an Iron Man, the Bayley-Sasha Banks Iron Man match, amazing.
Yeah.
Their Iron Man match, it was all right.
Yeah, it was
Didn't
just
need
like
to happen. You could have done a 2 out of 3 falls match. That would have been
that would have been great. Yeah. And then it would have made more sense, too, because if Seth had one fall and then Drew interrupted, got kicked out DQ, and then Dolph wins. Honestly, also, should have not been the main event.
I started count, like, once it hit the 10-minute mark, I was like, oh, thank God, it's going to be over.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And that's not good.
I was playing Legend of Zelda. Like, that's how much I checked out of that match.
Sarah was asleep, and I didn't even want to wake her up. I was just like...
Yeah. Well, that was that.
That was Extreme Rules. You excited for SummerSlam?
I'll wait to see. Like, I want to hear the matches because sometimes the big four are usually the ones that are pretty good. Usually SummerSlam's the beginning of shit getting good.
The Fatal 4-Way last year was awesome. It was so good. And it was just a mess. It was just chaos.
Right.
All right.
So, you want to talk about Slammiversary?
I will, just real quick. So, final grade for Extreme Rules.
I'd say B-. I'd still say B-.
C minus for me. It was just fine, but I'm tired of, like, I don't expect it to be New Japan.
No.
But I'm so tired of WWE shows just being fine.
Yeah.
They're never too bad. They're never too good. I'm so tired of middle-of-the-road product from this company that's getting billion-dollar deals from Fox.
Yeah.
And has all of this goddamn talent. WWE has so much fucking talent that I love, that I want to see. And the only place where I feel I can see them doing what they like to do in a WWE world is NXT.
NXT? Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, let's talk about Slammiversary.
Yeah, this
Impact Wrestling.
I'm pulling up
supposedly,
the card.
ideally, is coming out of the dark days now.
Yeah, dude, it's dope. Ooh, big news.
Oh.
We got breaking news, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm excited.
This is going to sound like not big news, but once I tell you it, you're going to be like, oh, shit.
I'm ready.
Matt Riddle.
Oh, yeah, I heard. He's,
I know what you heard. This isn't that.
Oh, okay.
Matt Riddle has officially been pulled from Battle of Los Angeles. Guess what that means?
He's going to WWE.
He's fucking going to NXT, my friend.
He's going to NXT.
There is no more proof than that. I just heard. So I wonder. First of all, I wonder who's going to replace him. Maybe Tom Lawler would be cool. But
is Jeff Cobb already doing it?
Yep, he's already in. So that's pretty much inks that deal.
Good for Matt Riddle.
Yeah, good for Matt Riddle for sure. I'm just saying.
I don't know what they're going to do. Like,
oh, dude,
NXT's going to have 2 hours.
If Aleister Black goes. Because I think he's going up after SummerSlam. I'd love to see him on SmackDown because I would love to see him versus Shinsuke. That's like one of my dream matches. You could probably send up Gargano Ciampa around Survivor Series, maybe even Royal Rumble time. Then you can even send up Undisputed Era soon. Yeah. As much as I don't want to, you probably could.
I don't know.
You send up British Strong Style probably sooner rather than later.
Well, they're going to go to NXT UK.
I don't think they are.
Really?
I think they'll lose the he'll lose the UK title by the time that show actually starts. Yeah. Well, I bet you he'll lose it at the tapings. It'd be a good way to start off the thing. He'll lose it to someone. I don't know, but they can start sending people up to main now and start making room for all these people because now you got Chris Dijak or whatever his fucking dumb name is. I'm so bummed.
He feels.
Why don't you just call him Donovan Dijak? He feels
like a bust.
You could even call him Donovan Dijakovic. I'd be okay with that. But what is it? Dominic Dijakovic?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm like that's not phonetically like sound.
He needs a beard or something.
Oh, I don't care about that. I don't care about that at all. I think he looks fine. I think he needs a better attire.
He doesn't aesthetically please me.
Okay. I don't disagree. I think give him tights, long tights.
Yeah, it's like Conor Reeves. Conor Reeves is not an aesthetic.
Oh, no, dude. It's because he's like, I want to be Ric Flair, but I look nothing like Ric Flair.
Now he is. But when he first started, I was like, you just...
He was, yeah, I was going to say, the last time I saw Conor Reeves, I was like, okay, he's getting better.
Yeah.
He's not as goofy. Right. But, okay, so we'll talk about Slammiversary. I'm going to pull up this card.
Slammiversary 16 happened.
I had to miss 1 or 2 matches, so I'll tell you the results. Unless you're going to probably watch this, or probably not.
No, you're good.
Okay.
I know the results, yeah.
So I'll tell you, this show is probably one of my favorite shows of the year so far. How do you spell Slammiversary? There we go. All right. The reason why is because it was everything it promised to be, which is something WWE hasn't done in a long time.
Right.
And sorry, this guy likes to talk about himself rather than tell me the matches.
First up, we had Johnny Impact.
Oh, you already got it up?
Yeah,
cool. I'll tell you.
I got you.
I wanted to lead for once, but whatever.
You can lead the talk.
All right. So, yeah. Johnny Impact versus Phoenix.
Taiji
Ishimori and Petey Williams replacing Rich Swann because he got a concussion at the MLW Battle Riot, which I'm going to be watching on Saturday when it goes on YouTube. Oh, yeah, that's smart. Plus, Rich Swann isn't such a hot commodity that you need him. Especially when I like Rich Swann. But I'm saying, like, he's not like someone you have, like, work through.
That kind of...
This match I caught the last half of because it started around the time I got off work. I was watching it while driving. Don't do that. But I watched it while I was driving. And damn, dude. This crowd was hot. This crowd was hot. They were saying, this is Impact. Like, this is Impact. And Impact Wrestling, Impact. Like, they were getting hot, dude. And this match was like... This was like a PWG spot fest, and I loved it for it. Because I always said, like, the best way to kick off a show is with an exciting spot fest. It doesn't have to be the most technical storytelling match, but to start off the show to get people hyped, you want that action.
Yeah.
And basically this match was a showcase for Phoenix. Even though he didn't win, Johnny Mundo actually picked up, or Johnny Impact in Impact. Yeah. He picked up the win, which in hindsight, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. That's their guy. You know, Phoenix, Lucha Underground, Petey Williams. Well, I guess Petey Williams, but I don't think they were planning.
Williams is there for Rich Swann.
Yeah, exactly. And Rich Swann wasn't their guy.
Yeah.
You know, and then, you know, Taiji Ishimori is New Japan. Makes sense for Mundo to win. This match was so spectacular because it had a lot of what made them great. It had a lot of style clashes. It had a lot of similarities, too. And they had some of the dope dives. Like, Phoenix did this sweet double foot stomp. Petey Williams did a Canadian Destroyer. It's getting kind of late into the match. He gives Canadian Destroyer, and people are like, yes, the match is going to be over. And then he just stomps on his head. It looks like it stomps on his head. It's really more of his shoulders, but it looked like it was right on his head. And he was doing some of these cool flippy lucha stuff that I haven't seen before. And I've seen a lot of flippy lucha stuff. Like, there was one point where I think he did like a Bronco Buster to the top rope to get himself up to flip and drag someone. Like, it was crazy stuff like that. And Petey Williams was hot because it's in Toronto. Taiji Ishimori just put on that 5.5-star match a month ago. So people were like, hell yeah, Taiji Ishimori. You know, and he was dressed up full-on Bone Soldier gear. Like, he wasn't like, hey, remember when I was here?
Yeah.
It was like straight up like, I'm living the gimmick. Mundo, you know, it's Mundo. You either like him or you don't. I like him.
He's fine.
He's gotten way better since he's been away from WWE.
Because he's probably had like
I said,
lot
Phoenix
of wrestlers to wrestle against.
Yeah, and he's been learning. He's been in like Mexico learning, and rumor is he's going to New Japan in the next year. I don't know when he might be a special match at Wrestle Kingdom or something.
Not Wrestle Kingdom.
Maybe like the New Year's Bash or whatever.
Like a G1 kind of thing.
So that match was dope, and I thought it was a good, perfect match to start off. It's very, you know what it reminded me a lot of? ECW.
Yeah.
This whole show reminded me of ECW, and I think that's why it worked. You had exciting matches to kick off. They usually kicked off ECW shows with either like a heel coming out talking shit and beating someone up, which gets people hyped because you're booing, or you have like the international triple three-way dance that they always did. So this was kind of reminded me of that. But overall, that was probably the second best match of the night was the opening contest, which I think is the best way to do it. The second match, I had to miss most of it because the internet wasn't working on my phone.
Allie took on Tessa Blanchard.
Yeah.
Tessa Blanchard won.
Yep. That's all you really need to know.
I don't get the Allie gimmick.
I liked her with Braxton Sutter.
Yeah.
I liked her also when she teamed with Kimberly because they were the Kimber Bombs. Yeah, that was cool. I saw them wrestle at Shimmer. They were really good.
I just don't get it.
She's like Bailey. She's essentially Bailey, but like
But a bunny.
yeah. Instead of hugging, she likes bunnies.
I just don't.
But like the way she's been telling the way they've been telling her story is that she kind of had like the goth friend as Rosemary.
Yeah.
And then Rosemary, because she's like an undead person, they can't have really two undead people in Impact. So because they brought in Su Yung, who Su Yung, if you haven't seen any of her matches before she was in Impact, she's fantastic. But since they brought her in, they kind of did this whole casket match, and because Allie and her are like best friends, like goth girl and the pretty girl, you know, that kind of dynamic. And so when Rosemary basically got murdered, because they keep saying she's dead, you know, she kind of went dark. Allie's kind of been like, I'm going to fight through this darkness, but it's hard not to be sad. And so she's like the bubbly girl, but she's trying not to be. She's trying to be strong.
Right.
And it gives her that kind of face feel. She's not the best wrestler, but she's got great character. And Tessa is basically she's trying to say that, like, I'm the best, fuck you, you know? And Allie keeps getting in the way, so she's like, okay, well, I'm going to murder you now. I'm going to kick your ass. And they had a great match. I think she won with a double underhook DDT. Tessa did, which I don't know if that's going to be her finish there, but she usually does the Magnum, named after her stepfather, Magnum TA, which is like is it X, whatever they call it. It's a code breaker.
Yeah.
It's a top rope code breaker. It's pretty sweet. But yeah, Tessa Blanchard, dude, I thought she was going to be NXT Women's Champion.
She's
the best.
Impact stole her.
Oh yeah,
that's a steal.
She was.
Her and Joe Hendry.
I guarantee she was supposed to be in the Mae Young, and she decided not to.
Her and Joe Hendry, those are steals.
Good picks.
After that, Tommy Dreamer took on Eddie Edwards in a House of Hardcore match.
This match was cool. I wasn't a huge fan of the ending. I understand it, but I wasn't a huge fan of the ending. The match itself, cool. You know, you can't go too hardcore because of what was happening later on.
Right.
But it was a passing of a torch, because the whole lead up to the story has basically been after Eddie Edwards was injured by Sami Callihan, he basically started going too far. If you remember the Lucha versus Impact Wrestling show they did, he was going too far and it cost him the victory. Then they had a match at their last they had another match, him and Sami, and he like basically was like, I'm going to murder him with this bat. And he went to go do it, and he ducked, or he knocked out, and Tommy was like, don't do it, and he accidentally hit his wife, his actual wife, whose name escapes me, but he actually hit her with like a kendo stick. Symbolism of the kendo stick was main purpose of this entire thing. And then, because Eddie Edwards has gone crazy because he essentially assaulted his wife, has now basically started pointing the blame at everybody he can find. And basically lost all his friends. And the only person who's there is Tommy. Tommy's like, I got your back. I got your back. Stopping him from basically committing murder against Sami Callihan. He protects his wife. Like, Tommy protects Eddie Edwards' wife. And it gets in Eddie Edwards' sick mind that, why are you protecting my wife? It's probably because you're fucking her, huh? And basically that's what they say, is he's like, well, you think I fucked your wife? They believe it because TNA's all R-rated and shit. I love it. It's not
so
for kids.
Edgy.
So edgy because he says F word and they bleep it. But yeah, he's basically, you fucked my wife. I didn't fuck you. You're stupid, you know. And they have this match. It's House of Hardcore because Tommy Dreamer has to promote his show. He'll do any promotion as long as he gets to promote his promotion.
Well, that's smart.
Yeah, it's a smart way of thinking.
Mexico Entertainment Magazine.
Yeah. I don't have anything cool. I have a band. I mean, you can go check them out on Facebook or Twitter, whatever. St. Wolf.
Sweet. Good plug.
St. Wolf. But this match was cool because it was a lot of it was very much a hardcore match for the sake of storytelling rather than a hardcore match for the sake of blood.
Right.
So it was more of Tommy Dreamer's trying to get him to stop, and he's kind of snapping himself. He's kind of reminding himself of old Tommy Dreamer, bringing out the cheese grater, or he had other things, but they're escaping me. Like a chair, you know, very old school. He did the sweet Death Valley Dreamer driver onto these 4 chairs that were stacked, and it looked brutal. But it wasn't it was like WWE brutal, you know?
Yeah.
No. A couple blood. I think he stapled him. He stapled gunned him, which is old school Tommy Dreamer style. But the only part I didn't like was the ending, because he sets up this table, starts pouring lighter fluid on it, and everybody's like, fire! Hell yeah, fire. Tommy's going through a flaming table because he sets it up and he knows how to go through a flaming table. I'm okay with it. Mm-hmm. And then Eddie Edwards does a Shining Wizard with a chair. Ends the match. Match is over. No flaming table. No table broken at all. And they do this weird thing. It was a little awkward. This is why it was a little awkward. Only thing bad about the show, in my opinion, is they were trying to do like the handing of the torch where he passes him the kendo stick, and now Eddie Edwards is basically a new Tommy Dreamer, which he kind of is. He looks exactly like him. He's the white meat baby face, not a lot of charisma. Tommy Dreamer, 100%. And he gives him the kendo stick, and Eddie Edwards' wife is there like, we need to squash this. And like, he like, give me your hand. Like, he went up to shake his hand, and then Tommy like pulled him back, and he's like, good. And he gives him the kendo stick and leaves, and he's like hopping out, you know, like selling whatever.
That was intense.
It seemed like there was supposed to be a turn, and nothing happened. So it was very weird, very awkward. I swear, I was like, okay, the wife's going to turn on Tommy. Makes sense. Then Eddie Edwards has a voice telling him what to do. They didn't do that. They're just passing the torch.
I'm kind of glad, because one of the biggest things about Impact Wrestling that was my biggest critique was they fucking love those heel turns.
Yeah, but this one made sense because he was already a heel. It's just her turning heel, and it wouldn't change anything. They could still do what they're doing. They could still have the passing of the torch. It just wouldn't be like Hulk Hogan Rock point at him kind of thing. It'd be more of like of symbolism.
Well, maybe they're planning on putting the title on Eddie Edwards.
Yeah, but it wasn't bad. It just felt like it was like empty air. Right. If that makes sense.
I got you.
Empty air. A lot of empty air. Next match was
Matt Sydal
versus Brian
doing
Cage.
Great character work.
The third eye.
Taking on Brian Cage for the Impact.
He does say, he says, open your third eye like way too many times, dude. Like, I love it. The whole gimmick is great. I love a heel Matt Sydal. I've never seen it.
Stoner.
But he like literally is just like, open your third eye. And he does this. He says it like every other word.
I get it, Matt. You do drugs.
We get it, dude. You're in touch with your inner person.
You do so many drugs, Matt.
Did you ever watch that PWG where he got back after he was back from Japan? And they're just like, and from Tokyo jail cell, Matt Sydal. It was great.
And Brian Cage is awesome.
Dude, Brian Cage is the best, dude. He gets bigger every time I see him. And he has a great moveset. He doesn't do anything like, he does his flips just to do flips to show that a big man could do a flip. Yeah. But he doesn't do anything crazy. You know, he's not like flying out of the ring.
He's also not like, size-wise he's big.
Yeah.
He's not very tall.
He's like 5'10". He's about my height, you know? So he's not super tall, but he's huge, man. He's a brick shithouse, dude.
No, he's a big dude. He's great.
Oh, he's fantastic. It's such a mistake for WWE.
That's an Impact
That's a steal for sure. That was him being signed as the first moment I went, oh, Impact could be good. You know, and then they got Pentagon, and then they got like all these other guys, and I'm like, okay. Callahan was the first time I said I need to start watching.
It doesn't matter if they can keep him. Like, Callahan's not going to go anywhere.
I think if they treat him right, he'll be there for a long time. I think Brian Cage doesn't give a shit. I think he's all about it because now that he just had that kid too, he probably wants the most time with the kid, and and his wife lives in SoCal, and I bet she won't go with him, and she works for Lucha.
He doesn't want to have to move to Florida.
Right. So, but man, this match was dope. This match was really, really cool. I don't know if the ending was a botch or it was a planned botch. You know, because the whole storytelling was so. Matt Sydal is trying to outthink Brian Cage. Brian Cage is out-muscling him. But then you start realizing that Brian Cage is a lot smarter than Matt Sydal, which I love. They start teasing, like, Brian Cage, oh, he knows what he's doing. He actually researched Matt Sydal, you know. But the ending had Matt Sydal going up for Shooting Star, his badass Shooting Star, and then he clips his foot, lands kind of crappy. I got to rewatch it to see if it, like, actually lands on his head, but I think he was just selling it. And that's what gave Brian Cage the chance to do his Steiner screwdriver and win the match. And I'm like, if that wasn't planned, that sucks. If that was planned, that was really good storytelling. Because that means that like Matt Sydal could have won if he just didn't make a mistake and got overzealous. Right. Loved it. But I think they're going to stop making the X division the cruiserweight division.
Just make it the...
It's just the mid-card belt, I think it's going to be. about exciting action. Maybe they'll have like a special rules or something, like no countouts or something like that for it. But I think it's going to become less of a cruiserweight division, you know, and more of just like, this is the cool division. Like, this is just another belt to win. And it's always kind of been like that. Like, Kurt Angle's won it. Samoa Bobby Lashley won it. You know, a bunch of people have won it. It's never been about weight limits. It's about no limits. I think Bubba Ray won it. Kevin Nash won it.
Who was the one? I think it was
Matt Morgan. I think might have won it.
No, they had that whole fucking stupid storyline trying to get Brian Kendrick to be the face of their X division when it was like a big guy.
I know Bubba Ray, Dudley, and Devon were doing that dumb thing where they would weigh each other every time right before they wrestled, and Brian Kendrick was the champion around that time. So it might have been that. And it was like Devon would be under 205 or whatever, but Bubba Ray wouldn't. And then the next month it was Bubba Ray who was under, and he's like, "Yeah, I did it." And then Devon's above, so they can't.
I don't miss old TNA.
No, I don't. But this was great. I think Brian Cage is going to bring a fresh air, start throwing people, and it could be a cool. They could either make it a mid-card title and just call it a day, or they can do Brian Cage is the unstoppable machine that all these little guys are trying to beat.
Right.
And then finally, when someone does, it's going to be a big deal. Two ways they can go with it, I don't know.
And they'll probably, I mean, Brian Cage feels legit, so they're probably going to keep the title on him.
Yeah, and also they got rid of the global championship or television, whatever. So it makes sense for it to be the new mid card.
No, what was it? It was Grand
Championship. It was the King of the Mountain, global, then Grand.
That was a Billy Corgan idea.
Yeah. On paper, it sounds like a good idea, but in the actual moment, I was like,
yeah.
I'm like, I like the idea of like, oh, there's rounds, but you got to do it like British rounds.
You did like point system, that'd be one thing. But
yeah.
Had like,
well, in British wrestling, they used to do 2 falls to a finish, where you have 10 rope breaks throughout the match, 2 falls to a finish, and you can't do things like jump over the top ropes or jump off the top ropes. If you did something like that and call it the Grand Champion and make it more like that, where there's all these finite rules that you have to follow, like a pure championship.
But like a point system.
Yeah, in the rounds just seemed very like, because they would announce who would win the rounds between.
Fake.
It's fake.
It's fake. What are you doing? Introducing a fucking point system to something that's fake.
Yeah.
I get the Bound for Glory series.
Yes.
I get that. I can wrap my. If you win by pin, you get these many points. If you win by submission, you get these many points. That makes sense.
Cool.
Oh my god. After that, Su Yung took on Madison Rayne for the Impact Knockouts Championship.
Yeah, this match was pretty dope. It's not nothing to rave about, but Su Young's great, dude. Like, I watched her. I started hearing about her about a year ago in Fest Wrestling on High Spots.
Yeah.
She's really good. She had a sweet match. She does a lot of hardcore wrestling. Not like deathmatch wrestling, but just hardcore wrestling.
Yeah.
That's why she always comes out with a cane. But she had a match with Effie. I don't know if you've ever seen Effie. Effie's like this, he's kind of like a punk rock. Who's the guy from your play, Rocky Horror?
Riff Raff.
Yeah, he's like a punk rock riffraff. So he's like a gay homosexual guy who's a badass, but he wears like stockings.
Oh, Frankfurt, sorry.
Yes, him. So that's what he is, Effie. And so he does a lot of intergender wrestling because, you know, it makes sense. But he's badass. He's really good. But he's super charismatic, and he comes out with like a ball gag and stuff like that. It's really cool. It reminds me of Goldust,
right?
But like a modern, not so bashful. Whatever. I'm talking about him too much. Su Young's really good though. She does a lot of hardcore wrestling. In this match, they're trying to build her up like an Undertaker kind of thing, you know.
She's got Mankind vibe to her.
Yeah, a little bit. She comes out with
down to the mandible claw.
Yeah, she does the mandible claw. She does a sleeper too, and that's how she won this match. Was a sleeper. It was a good match. You know, I didn't think Madison Rayne was gonna win.
Right.
There's rumors that she's gonna be in the Mae Young Classic, so I wouldn't be surprised. I would love. I think all 3 of the beautiful people are gonna be in the Mae Young Classic.
Really?
I think Angelina Love. I think Velvet Sky for sure is gonna be in it.
I like Angelina Love in it because she's great.
And I think Madison Rayne's gonna be in it. I'm not sold on Angelina Love being in it, but I'm pretty sure Velvet and
I'm
Madison.
not sold on Velvet. I'm less sold on that one.
I think she has an in with Bully Ray to get in there, and it would make sense. Yeah. She has a legacy.
After that, LAX.
This match was
the
dope.
OGs.
Dude, okay. Have you ever seen Eddie Kingston?
Yeah, I love Eddie Kingston.
Eddie Kingston this is going to be a bold, bold, bold claim.
I'm scared.
He has the best promo in wrestling. Like, I swear to God.
That is bold.
Dude, this guy...
He's good.
I don't know who I talked to. It might have been you I talked about this, but he talks with so much goddamn conviction. And, like, because he's been through the emotions that he's portraying, he becomes so believable with everything he says.
I'm not going to lie. I think Nick Gage is the best promo.
Dude, he's wrestled Nick Gage, and they had promos off, and I think he's beat him. But this guy, he like... His gimmick is very, LAX, like gangs and stuff like that, which is fine and perfect for this storyline. Him being like the new king. They call him King now, not Eddie Kingston, because I don't know. I like his catchphrase. If you come at the king, best not miss. That's cool.
Yeah.
But he comes out, he has this super conviction, basically put a hit out on Conan, tried to take over the new LAX. And when Conan came back and basically called him out on it, said, yo, because Conan likes to talk like he's like a mafia gang member. He's like, yo, orale, let me speak on this.
He's so goddamn fucking
But he's
90s.
like, this man, he tried to put a fucking hit out on me, and I know it was you, man. And then Kingston just like comes out of the gate. He's like, fine, I did it. But you're old. And you're out of touch. You don't know how to lead these two young kids to a better point, And he's super believable. And then he's like, all right, guys, you got to pick. You either with me or you with him. And they're like, well, we're with him, Conan. We're with Conan. He brought us into this game. And they started like basically going to fight him because he beat up Conan. Out comes the original LAX. I was so stoked. Homicide and Hernandez, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, Hernandez cracks me the fuck up, dude. He thinks he's so cool, and he's the least cool guy I've ever seen. He does this weird thing where he, like, puts his hands like this. He's like old school, like, b-boying, but he has no rhythms. He goes under, and then he, like, does this. I swear to God, and it's the least cool thing ever, but it fits. And then Homicide, training partners with Nick Gage. They opened the Compound in Jersey, which is where they do it's gang affiliate MDK. But yeah, Homicide is the best, dude. Like Homicide's probably one of the most underrated wrestlers on the planet.
I agree.
Yeah, and he was hot shit back in like 2006 ROH. But they had this.
Fuck yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was, dude. Like the Cage of Death, where they did
that Samoa Joe CM Punk feud. I'm like, fuck that. Let's talk about Samoa Joe Homicide.
Yeah, dude, Homicide's fantastic, and he
So
still can.
goddamn good.
And he could still go. He's so good. But this match was dope because
was the Gringo Killer.
Yeah.
The Gringo Killer.
The Cop Killer is originally called, which makes sense because it's 187 Homicide Cop Killer. But this match was dope because it was a hardcore match, just like the Eddie Edwards Tommy Dreamer match, but it felt like a gang warfare. You had Eddie Kingston and Conan on each side. Neither of them got really involved. They got like a little bit involved, but they were mainly just there to like pump their guys off and talk shit to the other guys. And like there's a lot of times where you see Eddie Kingston be like, best not get up, boy. Don't get up, boy. And then Conan's just like, yeah, keep walking, doing his Conan thing. But this match was violent. This was like what I thought the Eddie Edwards whatever was going to be, because they went through tables. They went through there was one point where he brought out Drano. And he was like threatening to pour Drano down the other guy's mouth. Christ. Like it was insane. Like this is like straight up gangster shit. And then like Hernandez did his sweet suicide no touch plancha that he used to do back in the day, and man, he hit it like perfect, like back in the day. He's got a little bit of a flab on his muscle now. He's like dad muscle now, but he still can go. And they bloodied each other up. LAX came out with like these ghost face paintings, like are painted on their face with like black eyes, white face, like they were going to war, dude. It was dope. And it ended with Conan kind of distracting Homicide. He's trying to do the Cop Killer to him, the Vertebreaker, if you want to be a little more PG about it.
Fuck it, Cop Killer.
Cop Killer. And then Conan distracts him, and while he's not looking, kind of like he's talking to him in his face like this, and he throws the other guy, I think it was Santana, the thumbtacks, pours down thumbtacks, hits him with a sweet frog splash, lands on him. Kind of like punch her to wrist, but not like, I think he punched it at like above the wrist, so it didn't cause anything, but it was bleeding pretty bad. And they just go, and then at the end, LAX attack him afterwards, and they attack Conan. This motherfucker's like 70 years old, dude. and he got thrown on thumbtacks. It was brutal. And then they spray paint like WCW style, OGs, because that's what they're calling themselves, is the OGs on it, and they hold the titles and they take them. So they take the tag titles even though they lost. So this is going to happen still. It was dope. One of the best parts of the match, though, was when Hernandez threw a guy out to the outside, and he looks like he was about to lie on the table. He lands. He's like, whoo. And you see Hernandez just fly at him and just senton him into the table. They just cracked into it. It was brutal.
Nice.
It was dope.
Then we had Sam Callahan taking on El Pentagon.
This is the only gripe I had with this pay-per-view. It's very much a wrestling faux pas to put two hardcore matches right next to each other. This match was not billed as a hardcore match, but it ended up being the most violent match of the night. And it should have been just billed as a mask versus hair death match, because that's what it was. But this match was dope, dude. Like, so I thought when he came out, so Sami Callahan is the best. Can I just say that?
Yes, you can.
He's probably one of my favorite wrestlers. If we made the Connors top 10, he's definitely in there. One of my favorites. He comes out. He's wearing his hat. He comes out to the music. He has the bat. He has his face mask. No Chris Brothers. He's just coming out, and he's just sitting there. People are booing. He's like, ooh, you know, doing perfect heel stuff. Like, he gets real heel heat. Like, legit. Pentagon comes out. He does a Seto Miedo. Match starts off. They're just staring at each other. And Pentagon he goes up and Callahan goes up and goes thumbs up, thumbs down. And then he takes off the glove, skyhook, Seto, Miedo in his face. They just start kicking each other like in the face. Super kick and a pump kick. Over and over and over and over. And then at one point, Sami Callahan chops Penta. Penta's just like, all right, my turn. He chops him with the vest. Because Sami Callahan kind of has like a Roman Reigns kind of vest. So then he's just like, he chops him and it doesn't do anything. He's like, wait 1 second. Zips, unbuckles, opens it. He's like, fucking hit me. And Pentagon's like, crack. Loudest chop I've ever heard in my life. Maybe I've heard one more because I heard it live, but loud as hell. And he just sells it because he gets down, gets out of the ring, and he's just like, oh no. And it was insane, dude. The match started getting crazy when they started pulling out chairs and things like that. And at one point, he pulled out 2 metal spikes, like Jimmy Jacobs metal spikes. Right. And Sami Callahan just gets the Pentagon, rips his mask more because you gotta show the blood. Yeah. And he just starts going in it with one and the other, and he just goes tap, 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 tap. Kind of doing like the skewers if you've seen a death match before. He does that, but it's too heavy to really stay in there. So it just kind of bleeds, makes him bleed. And then he ties his mask to the rope. Ties his mask to the rope, which I'm not a huge fan of because you can easily just go, oh, undone. But whatever, it's cool for the visual. He gets out, beats up Sammy a bit, gets those metal spikes, and he like does it as to him again, and then he takes his bat, his classic Sami Callahan bat, and just bink right in the head, and he just starts gushing blood, not like real gushy blood, but like kayfabe style.
Yikes!
And he totally misses, like kind of whiffs on the first one, kind of like knocks his nose a bit. Like it's not like he like I've heard people say it was like he bashed him in the face. He didn't bash him in the face. He kind of just cut him a little bit. He like dinged him a little bit, which is kind of ironic, which I thought was brought more to it. But he started doing it in the back of his head. He's just a bloody mess. I'll skip a little bit, but it's a lot of pile drivers on chairs. There was one point where, you know how like in Japan they do the chops or the forearms for like 5 minutes? They did that with the spikes. They were doing that where they were spiking each other.
They did that with B.J. Whitmer and Jimmy Jacobs.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was like. And they were just like spiking each other in the head. At the end of it, they're just done. And Sami Callahan throws powder in Pentagon's face. Pentagon's blind, can't see. Grabs the first person he can see, which is the ref, throws him down, breaks his arm. Because it's wrestling. Yeah. And so now the ref can't make the count when he finally does catch Callahan. And he gives him a penta driver or a fear factor, whatever you want to call it. But he can't pin because there's no ref. Little baby ref comes in, the one who looks like he's 14 years old, runs in. 1, 2, kick out. Pentagon goes up, gets him ready for another fear factor on the chairs. Goes for it, lands on the chairs. 1, 2, kicks out again. No way. And he just stands up and he spits in Pentagon's face, bloody mess. And he just says, "Do it." And he picks him up one more. Boom, match is over. At this point, he stops pretending. Oh, he breaks his arm. That's what it was. He breaks his arm. And he sells it. Then he does a pile driver, and it's over. He forgets to sell the arm, but I think he's trying to say that my arm's not broken.
Yeah.
He just got me good. But he stands up. He gives himself like Bray Wyatt style, where he's on his knees to Pentagon, and Pentagon's like has the scissors. And he's about to cut, and then the Chris brothers come in, super kick him. I didn't mean to flip off the camera. I just meant to do the super kick with my fingers, and he runs away. And then, but because they have like arms, they have their arms broken. Pentagon just super kicks him, hits him with chairs, get him out of the way. Phoenix brings out Sammy, puts him on the rampway, cuts his hair. Great match. Match is over. It was fantastic.
Nice.
It's probably one of the best matches I've seen this year.
Nice.
It's more of what I like in wrestling. Great storytelling, huge backstory. Violent, but with a purpose.
Not stupid violent.
I like violence with a purpose. I'll watch a death match for no reason, but I like violence with a purpose.
Right.
And then the main event happened. Good match. Austin Aries versus Moose. They had the new pitcher, I guess, for the Blue Jays in Toronto came out and was the belt ringer. Didn't really matter, but it was kind of cool that they had like a special belt holder.
Yeah.
Austin Aries basically has been talking up about how everybody thinks Moose is going to win. This is a chance. It's the perfect opportunity, but he forgets that this isn't my biggest match in my career. This is not even close. This is just another match for me. So when this match happens, it's basically Moose is fully prepared. He is ready for this match. But then Austin Aries, I forgot how good Austin Aries was.
Fucking good.
I forgot because I haven't really seen him wrestle since he was in WWE. It's fantastic. There was one point where he was like, "Get out of the way." He threw Moose into the steel steps, and then he reversed it, threw him into the crowd. The crowd gets taken out, picks him back up. They have a kind of like the old school WCW style lift, a ramp. Basically use that as leverage to give him a brain buster on the outside.
Right.
Gets him in the ring. There's a lot of skull taps. Do you know the skull tap where it's like a punt?
Yeah.
He calls it the skull tap where he just like kicks him in the forehead. He did that a few times. Tried to hit him with the belt, but the belt guy from the Blue Jays ripped it out of his hands. But that distracted Moose too as well. But it wasn't like a distraction like, oh, you lost because of this. It was just kind of like a momentary like, oh, what's going on? And then he hit him with a legit brain buster, no leverage needed. He just straight up picked him up, brain buster. Match is over. The only thing about this that I did not like is they did not hearken on the post-match. It just kind of ended.
Yeah.
He got the title from the guy, raised it up, walked out, and it was, Impact Wrestling, "Thank you for watching," and then it was over. Should have hearkened, maybe had Moose kind of just like...
Have them get up, crowd, standing ovation.
Yeah, oh, this is Impact.
Yeah.
But
Moose.
But yeah, I highly recommend watching this show because it was probably one of my favorites. It wasn't the best, because
compared to what
you got
Impact's been putting
Dominion.
out.
Dominion was better. NXT was better. But like, as a show, an entertainment show, it was probably one of my favorites of the year.
Yeah.
Just because it gave me everything I wanted. You had great match with Bryan and Seidel, great match with Austin and Moose. You had a couple of hardcore matches that made sense. That's the biggest thing, is you have to have them make sense. Yeah, the women's matches were both great. I didn't really see the one, but I saw a little bit of it. And then the opening match was so damn good. Great thing. But Impact, dude, I think they got me. I'm going to try to watch it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm there. I like what I've been seeing.
Yeah.
Joe Hendry's a steal. Tessa Blanchard's a steal.
Yeah, they're kind of doing a thing where he's cheating with Grado's girlfriend. But they're like best friends. Him and Grado are like best friends. But Grado's new girlfriend, who is Winter, or what's her name?
Katie Lee Burchill.
Katie Lee Burchill is his girlfriend. And she got hot, dude. Like, she was always hot, but man, she got way hot. But he's just like, this is my new girlfriend, but it seems like she only seems to post pictures of him and her and Joe Hendry. So everybody's like,
right.
But yeah, it looks dope.
Awesome.
I'm pretty stoked. Yep.
All right.
Yeah. I think we did it.
A 2-hour podcast.
We did it.
We're back.
We did it, guys.
We're back.
There was a lot to talk about.
Sit Down and Pile Drive is back. We're back on Mondays. We're back crushing it out. Podcast after podcast.
Yes, sir.
We ain't going anywhere. We're the Don Callis Impact.
Yeah. I'd say we're like the scummy indie crowd of podcasting.
Hell yeah! All right, guys. I think that's good.
Oh yeah, good place.
Thank you guys for tuning in to Sit Down and Pile Drive. Tales from the Undertaker is not going to be on tomorrow, but Wednesday we have Improv Bagel. Check it out. For
me, Connor Griffiths
and Connor Bradley. You guys have a great rest of your night. Catch you later.
Connor's out.